Whilst the high leagues have a rest for international football, it gives chance to showcase the real divisions of England. The leagues that offer the most excitement, drama and homegrown traditional football. Today's Skrill North match between the Lions and the Saints is the northern highlight of non-league day. And we will bring you commentary of every kick here on Guiseley AFC Radio. With me for the build-up is Tom Feeney. Hi, Tom.
Good afternoon.
And the players warming up today. The crowd starting to filter in at Nethermoor today. It's a good chance today to show off a great league, the Skrill North today, Tom. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, what a fantastic game this is. It's second v third from last season, and these two sides will both be aiming for promotion. Of course, with it being non-league day, we're expecting a nice crowd to arrive here, and let's hope it's a good game of football and really is an advert for this fantastic league.
Yeah, and before the game, the 3 o'clock kickoff today, we've got some post-Gloucester reaction with Steve Kittrick and Tom's thoughts so far on the season. We've also got Mike Bailey from Non-League Day and Keely Baptista from the Kick It Out, as the today Non-League Day features the Kick It Out campaign, kicking racism out of football. We've also got Phil Rogerson, the chairman of Guiseley, with us for a pre-match interview, and also words from Phil Marsh, the Guiseley striker, before we sign off to the commentary team of Colin Robertson and Nik Keefe. So, Tom, what do you think of the season so far for Guiseley?
Well, it's a bit of a polar opposite from last season's start, where it was that incredible winning run where it all ended against Chester, and I think this season it's been one of them starts where there have been a few frustrating draws, especially Colwyn Bay, that 2-2 draw, when really it should have been 3 points. But I think it's one of them, it's a new team, the team are having to gel, and I think Steve's just working out his main 11 really, and if they can get to December and be in them playoff places, I think, there's a great chance that Guiseley will be in them playoffs going into May, and let's hope it's fourth time looking in the playoffs, or it can be an automatic promotion for the Lions. Yeah,
let's hope so. And speaking of Steve Kittrick there, in the 1-1 draw with Gloucester City last week, we got some reaction from Steve Kittrick post-match.
Steve Kittrick after the 1-1 draw down here in Cheltenham against Gloucester City. Steve took the lead in the first half, but the second was hard work, wasn't it?
Yeah, I thought first half we should have been probably 2 or 3 up. You can't have. You've had a situation where you've got 3 on 1 and we don't score, and that happened 2 or 3 times, and we've got to put goals away, and that kills teams. Then you have a different conversation at half time. But at 1-0, they've always got an opportunity to get back in it. We made a decision at half time just to turn it early doors, but players aren't at the moment. When we say turn it, we say turn it if it's nothing else is on, and we started to turn it too much. They went to 3 at back. I was sat in the stand. I came down, and to be honest, I'm very, very honest with certain things, and I spoke to people around me, and they taught me how to do what I wanted to do, what I ended up doing. And I think if I'd have gone to 4-4-2 a little bit earlier, I think we'd have stopped them getting out, because we had a couple of chances at back end. But Chris Allen's turned around to me and said, "Well, you've always done what you felt and seen, and don't let anybody talk it out of it." And well, the war again.
Right, it was interesting because at 4-4-2 in those last minutes we did seem to be looking more likely to score, and indeed we got the ball in the back of the net, disallowed for the offside.
But I mean, you saw. I thought it were onside. He came from deep. I don't know. He may have seen it that where he ended up were an offside position, but where he came from, he weren't. But fair play to him. Teams are going to make it difficult, and I look at it there, and it's a long season, isn't it? And teams are getting better, and players are getting better, and expectation at guys is massive. And we've got some new players, and we've got some young lads who've gone on, in second half. James and Adam, who've not played at this level before. And young Zach, 17, 18-year-old, was a good player. And he needs some game time, and we've got to get people on the ball and get them playing. But I look at it. I think we've lost 2 points today, but then if you can win your own games and get a point away from home, then it's there, and it's not about. It's a long it's not about winning the first month. It's about where you end up. And you know, we might go under the radar this year and not be in that top 4 or 5 all year. But if we're 5th and 6th and we keep pegging away and doing what we're doing, you know, and it's where we finish. And you know, the lads are confident enough, and I'm confident enough that we'll be hopefully one better than we were last year. You know, but you know, let's wait and see. I'm disappointed because the expectation is massive, and my expectation of certain people today are massive, and one or two of them are letting themselves down, not me down. You know, themselves down, because at the end of the day I've got another 5 or 6 players I can put on the park and they'll do the jobs. But you know, I probably can blame myself because I should have done it earlier. I've gone 4-4-2. And we might have been having a different conversation, but anyway, I've got to learn that, and you know, like I said, I went down to do it and I got talked out of it, but I won't get talked out again from what I've seen. So,
and next week Brackley, they drew again today. They drew today. That's going to be a big game, isn't it, on Saturday, non-league day, big crowd down, opportunity for us to take on one of the big rivals from last season.
Yeah, I mean, you know, John's teams, the big sides that go back to front, to play when they have to play, they know when to turn it. You know, they'll all be 6'2". You know, so little Zach won't get a start, will he? But that's it. I mean, we've had some good games against them. I thought last year we went down there at back end. I thought we were the better team, and they nicked it. You know, and then they came to our place. I can't remember what was scored at our place. I don't know if it was a draw at our place last year, but
they beat us.
Did they beat us? Yeah. Well, but you know, we've got to win football games, and we've got to. You see, because what's happened here, we've lost 70 goals in 3 players, you know, and we lost Angie to Luton, who's now gone to Halifax. You know, they're all big players, and we've got to bed things in, and you know, we've got to be those players that's coming like Marshy and Hobson. You know, have got to come, and they're doing all right. They just need a goal apiece to get themselves going, and we'll be fine. We'll be all right. You know, next week's a good day for us to bounce back, and you know, you get 3 points, and you know, we'll have played 6 games, and you like to get 2 points a game. You know, 2 wins gets you back where you are. 1 win gets you just one point from where you want to be. But you know, like, we've been beat once. You know, and it's early doors. It's first month, isn't it? So, you know, let's see where we are other side of Christmas. I think we'll be all smiling on our faces because we'll get where we need to be, and we're not a bad side. We're just a little bit 1 or 2 players that haven't bedded in properly yet, and you know, and they've got to go and look at themselves and say, yeah, well, when Gaffer asks me to do something, that's what I want to do, and not have their own agenda. And that's not being disrespectful to them. I just think it's making decisions, isn't it? Yeah. And I think we've made the right decisions more times on the pitch, and not making the right decisions in changing rooms when they say, oh yeah, I'll do this, Gaffer, I'll do it when you're on park. You know, and like I said, lessons to be learned today, but you know, thanks for the support coming down. It's been really good. And I've got to be honest, I've seen the worst shirt I've ever seen for a long time in the bar, and it's the goalkeeping coach from Gloucester, and I said I'd kill him, and I've told him to read this because it's the worst shirt I've ever seen. There's some old lady sat at home with a tablecloth missing, because that's from some old lady's tablecloth.
Fashion advice from you once again, Steve. Thanks very much. Cheers.
So those were the words of Steve Kittrick with Colin Robertson there after the Gloucester game. So Tom, just quickly, what do you make of Steve's comments there after the 1-1 draw?
Well, I think he realised that it was a fair draw. I think he will have been frustrated as well after looking back on the highlights that Adam Priestley's goal in the last minute should have counted. I think a lot of people at the time weren't 100% sure whether that goal should have stood, but it's quite clear from the highlights that, well, it should have counted, and really it should have been 3 points for Guiseley, but Steve will have found that a fair point.
Yeah, definitely. Slight frustration there last week, but I'm sure they'll take the point away from home, hopefully the 3 today. So coming up next, we have the words of Mike Bailey from Non-League Day and Keely Baptista from Kick It Out.
Now joined by Keely Baptista and Mike Bailey. See, I was getting the 2 mixed up there already. Great start to the interview. Ahead of the big game between Guiseley and Brackley, which we're really excited and delighted at the club to both be the pinnacle of the non-league day and also at the Kick It Out campaign. So first of all, Mike, just tell us a little bit about what non-league day is all about.
Yeah, non-league day was set up about 4 years ago by a guy called James Doe. James is a QPR fan. He had a quick trip down to, I think, Tavistock. QPR played a friendly there, and he was kind of bowled over by the warm welcome that the QPR fans got, and also about how much it meant to them, not just financially, but in terms of the coverage, the prestige of having that kind of club come down. And it occurred to him that it'd be good to try and do something on a wider scale to help non-league clubs. And he came across the ingenious idea of hosting or holding something called Non-League Day, which would fall on a day when Championship clubs and Premier League clubs weren't playing. So the England International weekend, so obviously England playing on Friday as it did last night, and hence Non-League Day was born, and it's now in its 4th year, and it's safe to say it's growing year upon year.
It's fantastic, and we're really looking forward to seeing the crowds swell the Nethermoor stands today, this afternoon. Katie, just tell us a bit about Kick It Out and why you've come down this afternoon.
Yeah, Kick It Out is in its 2nd year of supporting Non-League Day. We're an initiative that tries to make football inclusive for everybody, whether that be as a participant or as a spectator, across all levels of the game. So we work in the professional leagues, we work in grassroots, and we also work in supporting non-league football as well.
Fantastic. Mike, this is the first time you've been to Nethermoor. How have you found it?
Fantastic. It's interesting. Actually, I used to live in Sheffield for 12 years, and I got a sort of almost feeling of being homesick when I started going through to Yorkshire. It was amazing. But no, the people are lovely. I mean, you kind of expect that. It sounds very patronising to a certain extent, but you do expect that. I mean, the people I spoke with such passion about the football club. The people who run it have been most accommodating. I mean, from day one we rang up AD Towers. We couldn't have wished to meet a more passionate, proactive person. Oh, right. I hate using the word proactive in football. It sounds like a business speak term, but it's true. And everything about the club, in the setting, and the way we made the film. No, it's been fantastic. And I think the main thing today, the coverage has been fantastic, I hope, for the club. But we really hope we get a big crowd here today, just to show off this club and show that Non-League Day hopefully really does make a genuine impact.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. And in terms of what we can expect to see, the Kick It Out brand is everywhere, isn't it, this afternoon? What else can we see?
Well, Kick It Out this year celebrates its 20th year anniversary, and to commemorate that, we've launched something called the Season of Action, which is encouraging clubs, whatever level of the game you play at, to actually demonstrate your support to being inclusive of football for everybody throughout the season, and to demonstrate that Kick It Out's not just a one time of a year organisation, and that we work all year round to make football inclusive.
Marvellous. Well, look, it's delightful to have you both here. Thanks very much.
Thanks a lot.
Cheers.
So that was Colin Robertson with Mike Bailey and Keely Baptista. It's a great day here for Guiseley with the Non-League Day campaign and the Kick It Out, kick racism out of football. We've got players warming up in the T-shirts out there. But to tell us a bit more about the day today, we've got Guiseley chairman Phil Rogerson with us. Phil, there's a lot going on and off the pitch today. Has it been hard work organising this kind of day?
Yeah, I mean Adrian's put a lot of effort into it. I've been on holiday, but so I got back last night and it's all been set up. But no, I've kept in touch with Adrian all week, and he's put a lot of hours into it, and hopefully the ground's filling up, and we'll get the crowd we wanted. Yeah,
exactly, and it's just such a great campaign here to kind of get the word of the Guiseley name out there. Don't you agree?
Absolutely. We've just the combination of Non-League Day and a great campaign like Kick It Out that's going to, hopefully their objectives are going to be achieved, but also we'll get a good crowd and hopefully retain some of the guys who've come to watch us today.
Yeah, and maybe some people who are listening who don't know as much about the club. There's a lot going on with the kind of community feel and the youth side of the club at the moment?
How long have you got? We've got a huge opportunity now with Action for Children. They're going to be on our away shirts, hopefully at the next away game, and we'll have an official launch at the home game the following week when we play whoever it is we're playing. I can't remember at this point, but that's on the 21st, so that will be the launch of that initiative. What we're looking at is basically some sort of training schemes for young people, which will involve getting them involved in some of the ground improvements here and at other community venues in the locality. So we might well be doing something with Green Meadows School to improve their football team, and it could be massive, absolutely massive.
Yeah, so everything going on at Guiseley at the moment.
Yeah.
And, let's hope 3 points on the pitch today.
Well, that's the next objective, isn't it? Get a good crowd and 3 points.
Exactly. And just a quick score prediction today from yourself, Phil.
Oh, it'll probably be one of our 1-0s, but 1-0 will do.
I think we'll all take that on this back row. A nice 1-0 last-minute winner again.
No, I don't know about last minute, but not too early either. That's the other problem we get.
Well, thanks a lot, Phil, for talking to us here on Guiseley AFC Radio.
Okay, no problem.
So, yeah, that was Phil Rogerson, chairman of Guiseley. We've got team news coming up, and as well as a Phil Marsh interview, striker, before we start the commentary today for the 3 o'clock kickoff. The ground really is filling up. We were seeing some empty seats at the start about half an hour ago maybe, but they really are filling up here. There's young and old people in, and I'm sure there's people from maybe Leeds United and other surrounding bigger teams, some of the Yorkshire sides. The fans from there coming in with the offer of a discounted ticket. I remember seeing a tweet, Tom, from a Huddersfield fan, I think it was, who was really up for coming today.
Yeah, well, I think it's a great initiative, this. I know a few Leeds United fans that have made the journey to Nethermoor. Unfortunately, with Bradford City playing at home, it means, of course, a lot of them have decided to see Bradford City at home. But I think some Huddersfield Town fans, as you said, have also made the journey to Nethermoor. And it's just great to see if we can give them some entertainment today. And, well, if they can come back maybe a few more times this season, then it's all worth it.
Yeah. So now we've got some team news coming up for you. There's only one change from the game against Gloucester last weekend. It's the expected Hobson suspension after his red card against Colwyn Bay. So that's come through, and that gives Adam Priestley a start. But we'll run through this starting lineup anyway. For the Lions, it's Steve Drench, Jack Rea, Reece Maynell, Michael Potts, Danny Ellis, Jamil Ebley, Wayne Brooksby, Andy Holdsworth, Phil Marsh, Adam Priestley and Gavin Rothery. That's the starting lineup. And on the bench for Guiseley is James Burgess, Mark Bauer. Really good to see him getting returned into the squad there. Jake Lawler, the goal scorer of the winning game. Let's hope he doesn't have to leave it till that late again. Zach Dale and James Montgomery. Just quickly run through the Brackley side for you as well. It's Billy Turley, Neil Cartwright, Curtis McDonald, Eddie Odiambo, Tom Sharp, Ryan Austin, the captain, Isaac Reed, Brett Solken, Charlie Griffin, Eddie Nisevich, Glenn Walker, and on the bench, Owen Story, Steve Towers, Steve Diggin, Gary Mulligan, and Nat Jarvis. So just quickly, Tom, what do you make of this Guiseley lineup?
Well, it's an expected change with, of course, Craig Hobson being banned. Adam Priestley will add a lot of pace down the centre, and I just think, that's something that Guiseley need, especially against a team like Brackley. Yeah,
exactly. And one of the starting lineup today is Phil Marsh. Tom caught up with him earlier today, just before kick-off. So here are the words with Phil Marsh. Unfortunately, we can't get that right now, so we'll try and get that working as soon as we can. So the starting lineup, the only one change, and as I said, it is really good to see Mark Bauer on that bench after we caught up with him before the game last week. So anyway, we do have the Phil Marsh interview going now, so we'll just get that to you. Tom with Phil Marsh before the game today.
I'm joined now with Phil Marsh in today's game against Brackley. A good game for Guiseley.
Yeah, it's a big game. Obviously, both teams did well last year in the playoffs, and both teams have started quite well this year. Brackley are up there again, and it's going to be a tough game because they're obviously a big set of lads and they play to the strength. So yeah, looking forward to a good game.
It's going to be a big crowd with it being non-league day. Do you think the crowd will help Guiseley get the 3 points?
I hope so, yeah. I mean, the crowds haven't been as big as they was last year, but I mean, today's obviously a big day. It's non-league day, and the lads don't need any, help in playing in a game like this anyway, because it's a big game. We need 3 points against these tough teams who we've got in the next couple of weeks. So, yeah, it should spur us on, hopefully, and get another 3 points.
Do you think Brackley will be in and around the playoffs this season, or maybe going for automatic promotion, just like Guiseley?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they've started off well again this year, and they're always going to be up there because they've got a good team and they've the big set of lads, and they play the right way. So yeah, I think they'll definitely be up there this year, and hopefully we'll be up there as well. I think it's a good test this season, I think, because there's quite a few teams who's going to be up there. So.
And finally, Phil, just a score prediction for today.
I don't know. Hopefully, I'd take a 2-1 or a 2-0, or any result that brings us 3 points. Really, I'd do. But yeah, anything 2-1, I'll say.
Thanks, Phil.
Cheers.
So that was pre-match. Phil Marsh with Tom Feeney. So it's now time for me and Tom to end our build-up for the game and to hand over to our commentary team. It's a 3 o'clock kickoff here at Nethermoor for the game between Guiseley and Brackley. So I will now hand over to our commentary team of Nik Keefe and Colin Robertson.
Thanks very much, Tim, and of course Tom as well for bringing us all that build-up to this afternoon's non-league day extravaganza down here at Nethermoor. We're really looking forward to this. It's been one of the highlights of the early season so far, for sure. Nethermoor is looking lovely. I mean, the pitch today is absolutely pristine, and there's a decent crowd emerging and building up in the ground as well. We're about, I'd say, 2 or 3 minutes away from kickoff. The two teams are still inside the changing rooms in the tunnels and just waiting to come out, waiting for a guard of honour from today's young footballers. Who I must admit, name I just can't find in front of me, but we'll just find out exactly who they are in a moment. And this is going to promise to be, and does promise to be, a very big day for the club all round off the field. But of course, on the pitch as well. Really, really important, isn't it, Nick, that Guiseley get back on the winning ways?
Yeah, absolutely. Good afternoon, by the way. We are looking at a fantastic turnout. It's a lovely day. But, of course, any regular Guiseley fan will know that Brackley were a real thorn in Guiseley's side last season. I think I'm right in saying they did the double over us last year, and so Steve Kittrick will have been hoping his players can stay focused, that with everything else going on, they don't forget that they've got a really tough game against a really difficult to beat, big, strong, physical Brackley side this afternoon.
Yeah, of course, we beat them in the trophy, didn't we? I think they had a man sent off early in the season and then lost both in the first home league game to Brackley here at Nethermoor, and then in the return fixture, that one that actually effectively ended our hopes of catching Chester, we lost by that goal to 0. Just to say the two teams are just about to come out now. You can probably hear the music, and it's the Menston Junior Football Club, the under-9s, who have been invited to today's game to be the Guard of Honour, a club that was formed by David Duffield and John Hendry. A great little club that's been awarded the Charter Club Standard for best practice. So great to see the Menston Junior side out there. The under-9s very welcome and forming a fine guard of honour ahead of today's game. Yeah,
it's something we do well down here, actually. The last one we saw was in the match we played against Chester towards the end of last season. And I know Chester really appreciated that Guiseley, you know, who we'd been their main rivals, the one club that had been challenging for most of the season. I think they really appreciated that when they came here, that they got a proper champions welcome from the team that they had outlasted in the league race. So it's good to see all the kids out here today. It's good to see all the players warming up in the Kick It Out t-shirts as well. All the Guiseley players in the familiar black with the yellow and green lettering and logo on the front of the Kick It Out campaign, who are in their 20th season this year. So it's a big season of action. Really exciting that they've chosen us to be here for this.
You can't say it enough, can you? It's a great honour, isn't it? And it's wonderful to be at the heart of things. Sky Sports this morning, you know, showing Guiseley and live interviews with Steve Kittrick, AD Towers, and of course Mike Bailey from Non-League Day, and Keely Baptista from the Kick It Out campaign. Been absolutely fantastic all morning with that media coverage.
Yeah, well, it's great to see some of our little local stars, the people that we know so well, like AD, like Steve Kittrick. It's great to see them getting on TV, because they're people that we're used to hearing their voices. We're used to seeing them speak around the ground, and it's. I think every Guiseley fan will have got a little bit of a kick out of seeing them on Sky Sports News. And if you haven't today, I'm sure someone will dig out the clips from beforehand for you to see. Sorry, Colin.
Well, the two teams are coming out, and it's been a long day, but a good day, and it's kicking off now on the field because the two teams are coming out to good applause. A good crowd has seemed to have gathered here at Nethermoor for non-league day, and we're looking forward to what promises to be a crunch early season encounter for both sides. Just go down the team lineups. 1 to 11, first of all, for our visitors. Billy Turley in goal, Neil Cartwright, Curtis McDonald, Eddie Odiambu, Tom Sharp, Ryan Austin, Isaac Reed, Brett Solkin, Charlie Griffin, Eddie Nisevich and Glenn Walker. A very powerful side indeed for Brackley this afternoon. On their bench, Owen Story, Steve Towers, Steve Diggin, Gary Mulligan and Nat Jarvis. Some names on there as well that they can certainly bring out some quality off the field. For the Lions, Steve Drench in goal. Then from 2 to 11, Jack Rea, Rhys Maynell, Michael Potts, Danny Ellis, Jamil Eblay, Wayne Brooksby, Andy Holdsworth captain, Phil Marsh, Adam Priestley and Gavin Rothery. And on the bench, James Burgess, a return into the lineup for Mark Bauer, Jake Lawler and Zach Dale, and a return this week for James Montgomery. Nick, what do you reckon to that guys' lineup this afternoon?
Well, since the first game of the season, after which he made quite a lot of changes, he said since that he maybe chose too many new players. Since then, he's gone for continuity as much as he possibly can, and he's done the same again today. The only change, the injury to the unavailability of Craig Hobson. Adam Priestley is really impressed from the bench in his cameo appearances. He's looked willing to get out on the left and do a bit of running in a more forward position as well. So it gives Gavin Rothery the option to play behind Phil Marsh or onto the left, and then we've got Wayne Brooksby who's happy to play on the right or the left as well. So they've got all sorts of attacking possibilities there, and they could change around as the game goes on to make it difficult for the Brackley defenders to mark a set man. So that's the main thing that strikes. And in midfield, obviously, again, we've got Andy Holdsworth and Michael Potts, who look like the first choice of the midfielders for the 4-2-3-1 formation that's become quite familiar now. And with Jake Scott getting injured, we understand, and he's gone back to Barnsley for the time being to continue his rehab. I imagine this is going to be more or less the team that we'll see for a little while to come. Just wait to see how the new signing, Paul Ennis, will slot in once he becomes available.
Yeah, so the referee calls the two teams together, but as well as the Menston Juniors, there was the Guiseley Juniors team out there on the field, just going through the Guard of Honour. Wonderful to see the whole community actually today really getting behind this wonderful event. And as Nick alluded to, some changes to that lineup for Guiseley. Of course, no Craig Hobson, suffering from a suspension, or rather is suspended today. And the announcement of that new signing, Paul Ennis, this week will make a difference. He can't actually start because of waiting for international clearance.
Right. Yeah, so the Welsh nationalists have achieved something then. That apparently you have to wait for the registration to cross the border from North Wales into the north of England. Sounds a bit unlikely, doesn't it?
It does, doesn't it? But somehow it is the case. So Paul Ennis will be joining the club and hopefully feature next week. However, this week there's a very tough task ahead of the Lions as referee Matthew Bristow calls the two captains together. Brackley have won the toss. They'll be shooting from left to right in an all-yellow strip. They'll be shooting from left to right from where we're sitting, which means that they're shooting towards the bowling green end of the ground. Guiseley, who'll be shooting towards the railway end, are in their usual kit, white shirts, dark blue shorts and socks. Matthew Bristow, the referee today, is going to be assisted on the red flag, which is Sam Mulhall, and Youssef Gargani on the other flag. And the referee blows a whistle to indicate we're underway on non-league day here in the Skrill Conference North. And you're listening to Guiseley AFC radio, and immediately Brackley are on the attack. They're getting the ball into the Guiseley half.
Yeah, you can tell you got some non-regulars in today because the covered area nearest the clubhouse was absolutely full before kick-off, and any regular knows that Guiseley like to shoot to the railway end in the first half.
Well, they're having to defend at the moment. The ball whipped into the penalty area where Guiseley are having to get the ball away from Charlie Griffin. It still comes out of that melee of players. and in the end goes behind into touch harmlessly, but Griffin was the target man there. Did well to get the ball down and almost carved out an early opening.
And as we said, Adam Priestley starting out here on the left, Wayne Brooksby to the right, and Gavin Rothery looking to be a further forward midfielder, sort of a bridge between Holdsworth and Potts in the holding roles, and Phil Marsh, who's the lone out-and-out striker up there.
Drench with the goal kick. Up towards Priestley, beaten to it by the head of Neil Cartwright. Priestley gets the return ball though, starts to run at the defence, gets a shot away, blocked by Tom Sharp, and then is the bounce, but defeats him, and the ball is collected by Rothery. Guiseley retain possession here with Holdsworth. Square, Potts helps it forward, but it's cut out well by Solkin. Brett Solkin loses possession though, and Rhys Maynell comes forward from left back. Maynell and Holdsworth just looking to tease out an opening. It's fed forward towards Marsh, but held back by Isaac Reed, and eventually Cartwright launches it away down the right-hand flank, and Eblay knocks it out into touch for a throw-in.
Very clear that Steve Kittrick wants his full-backs to get forward there as they were in possession. The two full-backs were level with the first two midfielders, far ahead of the central defensive pair.
Brackley now have a throw inside the Guiseley half, about 10 yards from the halfway line, taken quickly, knocked out again, another throw, just about on the edge of the 18-yard box, where Cartwright throws it in towards the touchline. Eventually gets the ball back and hikes one into the area. Well, Jack Rea went up against Eddie Nisovic and has been bundled, I think, into the hoarding, and looks to be in some discomfort actually down there. Nisovic and Rea was somewhat of a mismatch, wasn't it, at the back post there?
Yeah, and we know this about Brackley. They're a very strong physical team. Guys are going to have to be a little bit more intelligent, a little bit tricksy and moving the ball around if they want to avoid some of these heavy challenges today. Not necessarily unfair ones, but just physical ones.
Well, certainly been a big side. Brackley did so well last year, got all the way through to the Conference North playoff final, beaten only by Halifax in a very tight affair. It could have gone either way. Now Brackley come forward once again. They're over the halfway line. Priestley chases down Isaac Reed. Tackle from Priestley. The home fans feel he got the ball. Referee says otherwise. It's going to be a free kick to Brackley, just inside the Guiseley half, on the far near right-hand side as we watch them. Cartwright's going to take. He's got bodies on the edge of the penalty area, waiting for this to go long. Cartwright sends it long, up towards a penalty spot. Drench has to watch this very closely. Does well. A cool, collected catch from Drench. And in the end, he tries to launch it long, and Brackley pick the ball back up again. Forward this time, looking for Glenn Walker down the left-hand side. Eblay can just shepherd that out for a goal kick.
They're going to have to do a lot better than that at Brackley with the pass if they want to unlock the Guiseley defence. Jamil Eblay has looked a much improved player already since he started playing, and he was well across and scouting that out. And you know he's very quick on his feet as well. So those passes to get in behind him are going to have to be quite accurate, I would say, this afternoon.
So Drench restarts as we head into the 4th minute with the goal kick. Picked up now by Rothery on the halfway line. Can't control it. It's gone out for a Brackley throw. McDonald, the left back, takes the throw just over the halfway line. Flicked on by Griffin. Cleared by Ellis up towards the halfway line, but Brackley recover possession once again. Glenn Walker with a little nod down. Ellis having to tackle and try to get the ball away from Nisovic. Nisovic keeps going forward, but a great recovery tackle from Ellis takes the ball away from him inside the penalty area and out for a throw.
Good lively stuff by Brackley, and they're certainly having the better of the opening exchanges.
Guiseley now have to defend this because it looks like it's going to be a long throw hoisted into the area. There's about 6 yellow shirts in there. It goes short in the end. And then towards Adiodiambu. But Guiseley defend. Can't clear the lines. Linesman's flag goes up. And a bit of respite for the Lions as they get a free kick.
I think an interesting competition today is going to be the number 7 for Brackley, Isaac Reed, up against the Guiseley left back, Rhys Maynell. He looks, does Isaac Reed, looks like he's got a bit of pace. It looks like he's got 1 or 2 tricks and like he can move and move with the ball at pace. So Rhys Maynell's going to have to stay switched on.
Well, Guiseley have taken the goal kick and have conceded possession. Brackley are a strong side. Seeing this lineup, it makes me think as well of, you know, in some sympathy, Kettering. Of course, a lot of these players came from around that area. And when Kettering were a stronger side, players like Brett Solkin were playing at that level. So Brackley are a stronger force probably for it today. But of course, a really sad story of Kettering this week. Now Brackley have the ball once again, nodding it on towards Griffin. Can't get it forward. Flicked away by Holdsworth. And now it's Isaac Reed who tries to twist and turn. Gets bundled over, earns his side a free kick inside the Guiseley half. It's on the edge of the centre circle, taken short. Walker picks it up, runs across the Guiseley back line and shapes it out here to McDonald. McDonald rasps one in towards the edge of the 18-yard box, goes past everyone, finds Isaac Reed, goes down to the touchline, tries to get it across, blasts the ball against Ebley and out behind for a corner.
Yeah, we saw Isaac Reed twice there, once in the centre of the park with a trick too many, drawing a free kick, and then with acres of space by himself, alone in the Guiseley area. They're going to have to keep a much closer eye on him because he looks very dangerous.
Corner kick to Brackley on the near side, taken short here, whipped in now by Cartwright, headed away from the penalty spot, and now up here towards Phil Marsh. Marsh not able to win that battle with Tom Sharp, and then the ball forward here. And unfortunately, as Guiseley tried to counter-attack, Adam Priestley was well offside. I think the referee's just going to allow play to continue because Priestley doesn't even chase that ball. It goes all the way back to the goalkeeper.
Yeah, right decision that. Interesting one to keep an eye on today would be Brackley defender Tom Sharp. He's got his left hand and wrist bandaged up. I think it's maybe a half sort of pot. Don't know whether that's a broken wrist or whatever, but he was really keen to avoid it as he went to ground there.
He's obviously struggling with it. The free kick's been taken. It's up towards the penalty area once again. Quite direct football from Brackley.
I'll tell you what it reminds me of is the Cantona one from the 90s. Do you remember when Eric Cantona was playing with one like that for about 2 or 3 months of a season? I think he probably used it to punch people with, whereas Tom Sharp looks like he's fairly keen to avoid any impact on that left hand and forearm.
I don't actually remember the Cantona one. The one I'm thinking of is Gary Lineker.
Oh, that's another good one.
In the World Cup.
Yeah.
Now, Guiseley have the ball. They've just picked it up inside their own half to try to play it forward. It's too far ahead of Phil Marsh and out for a Brackley throw.
This comes hot on the heels of Jake Scott getting his first ever Terry Butcher bandage the other week as well, doesn't it? So yeah. we're spotting famous football injuries down at non-league level for you here.
Beadwell on the pitch. Brackley have a throw inside their own half. Guiseley clear. Just inside their own half, and it's out once again for another Brackley throw, which Brett Solkin, while he hands duties over to McDonald, he launches it down this left channel. Guiseley just on the back foot at the moment, really encamped in their own half in these opening 8 minutes or so.
Well, they're struggling to put any passing movement together, and Brackley, as we said, are looking very strong going forward. It's a good period of pressure for them.
McDonald now has a chance to put a long throw in, but it looks on shapes as if he's going to. And then Eddie Nisovic comes short. Guiseley just get the ball away from Nisovic. It's another ball in now from McDonald on the left boot. Cleared by Maynell. Reed still there, troubling Maynell. Picks the ball back off him. Back here to Cartwright onto the edge of the 18-yard box. Guiseley clear, Phil Marsh all on his own up front at the moment. Chases it down, goes past Austin, but does good running and actually forces Billy Turley to make the clearance out into touch.
Well, he's got something from nothing for his efforts there, really. He didn't have Ryan Austin beaten for pace, but Billy Turley maybe settled too early there on just knocking the ball out for quite a soft throw, level with almost as far forward as the penalty area here, it seems.
Yeah, on the edge of the 18-yard box on the left-hand side. Maynell takes it short to Rothery. Good ball back from Maynell to find Potts. Potts holds the ball up, finds Rothery again on this left-hand side. Guiseley not making any headway, though. Potts tries to get the ball into the area, up towards Marsh. Bounces off the feet of McDonald. Could have gone anywhere. I don't think McDonald was expecting it. In the end, it's rather harmless, and Turley collects. And the danger's gone.
We've been asked to get a few Billy Turley puns in today for those who know his history, but good to see he didn't crack under pressure there.
Clearance now from Turley.
He's had a couple of suspensions in the past, Colin. Sure, it's all public record.
And we head the ball away by Jack Rea.
5 minutes in and it's all gone to pot.
Guiseley have a free kick inside their own half. Steve Drench is going to come forward. He's going to take this from the edge of the centre circle.
Don't worry, I won't do any more.
In his own half. Guys, you've got some players forward. 3 or 4 on the edge of the 18-yard box. It goes out wide here towards Priestley. Priestley can't win it. It's headed away. It looked a bit like it might have been headed by Cartwright, but in the end it's going to be a goal kick. And Turley will take that one.
The Guiseley player's not asking for the corner there, so can assume they saw something we didn't, I think.
So it's a goal kick to Brackley. We've had about 11 minutes of this game, and to be honest, I don't think we've seen a shot on goal as yet. Brackley, though, I think have had the better of the early possession. And now they get the ball down this right-hand side once again with Isaac Reed. Reed has to go back. Cartwright flicks it onto Reed. Reed tries a little back heel to find Solken, but it's cut out. Ebley launches it long, headed away by Sharp. Sharp up to the halfway line. Taken down here by Solken. Solken looks to go back, can't. Helps it forward though, and looks for Griffin. Ebley's there ahead of him. Ebley had options, I think, to take it back to Drench, but opted to knock it out into touch in the end, and Brackley will come forward once again with a throw.
Well, I think Charlie Griffin's an imposing physical presence, isn't he, there? And I think Ebley took the safest option of playing it out there. But Griffin looks like he's going to be all about the strength and the height, not so much maybe about the pace as such. But
now the ball in the area. Glenn Walker gets it across, and it's in the back of the net from a very quick throw. Thrown into Glenn Walker. Glenn Walker lays it back. Isaac Reed was on hand. And after 12 minutes of this game, it's Guiseley 0, Brackley 1.
Oh, that's really disappointing, isn't it? And as you say, the throw came very quickly. Weren't expecting to see it. I was still talking, I'm afraid, there. Sorry about that. But taking Guiseley by surprise, caught them napping, made themselves space in the box and finished well.
So Guiseley trail by a goal to 0 early on this day. A good crowd out here to see it. Steve Kittrick, everyone at the club, we're hoping the Lions can mount a recovery, because that's a real early blow for Guiseley. Isaac Reed on 12 minutes to give Brackley the opening goal. But Lions have the ball inside the Brackley half. Maynell has the throw, takes it short here to Potts. Back from Maynell, far too heavy for him. Does well to control, gives it back to Maynell. Maynell under pressure there from Odiambu. Plays the ball across, picked up now here by Nisovic. Brackley coming forward in numbers, lays it out wide to Walker. Walker tries to lay it back into McDonald, and then away by Ellis inside his own penalty area. Launched forward here, Marsh goes looking for it, tries to get it away from Sharp. Does well to win the ball, down the right-hand side. Has very few players up with him. It's now here with Potts. Potts has a heavy touch and is dispossessed by Odiambu. And now Guiseley concede a free kick inside the Brackley half, and the danger's passed once again.
Already looks like this is going to open the game out a little bit. Guiseley are going to have to get men forward, going to have to try and produce a lot more than what they've done in the opening exchanges. But with that move, Brackley also looked willing to go forward in search of a second. They're not looking immediately like they're ready to get men behind the ball and settle for 1-0 so early in the game. So we should, if nothing else, have a bit more of an end-to-end game now.
Well, it's certainly opened things up, like you say, Nick, in that last exchange. Guiseley pressing, and Brackley almost opening out another chance. They lead by this goal to 0. A free kick taken by Billy Turley inside his own half into the penalty area. Cleared here by Priestley. Nodded out by Brackley. Guiseley have a throw in. Inside their own half on the left-hand side. Maynell up towards the halfway line. The target man was Priestley, but he doesn't win it. And then the ball that's returned is headed out into touch by Ebley, and you probably hear bounces on the top of the stand.
Makes such a big difference to have physical midfielders like Brett Solcone here, easing Gavin Rothery off of the ball without really needing to worry too much about the Guiseley player being near him.
The throw's taken, it's flicked on by Griffin. It's gone out behind for a goal kick. Guys who need to regroup and think about how they're going to move forward. Already, Burgess, Lawler and Dale are having a little warm-up. Don't know if that signifies anything. But non-league day, which has been fantastic all morning, with great attention and coverage off the field from Sky Sports and all the local press heavily getting behind it. But on the field, it's not been so positive so far for the Lions. Potts now helps the ball forward. Priestley goes looking for it. Full of energy is Priestley. Forces Ryan Austin into a high clearance out into touch.
Well, these guys have got a bit further forward up the pitch here, and opportunity to try and build something from a throw-in. Again, close to the edge of the box.
Now Maynell has a throw on this left-hand side. Launches it down. It's nodded into the area. It's picked up well by Brooksby. Bit of slack defensive from Brackley. Tries to get the ball across the face of goal. Cut out, knocked behind for a corner. Brackley went to sleep there for a moment. Brooksby almost capitalised.
And that's what we want to see as from a Guiseley point of view. Wayne Brooksby getting on the ball, scaring defenders in the area while he's got it at his feet and he's moving at pace, generating the first proper chance of the game.
Holdsworth now with the corner for Guiseley, trailing by this goal to nil. Tries to play it to the near post, but it's easily cut out. Has a throw though, takes it quick into Potts. Potts takes it down, looks for options. He's got very few, but does find Rothery on the edge of the area. Rothery gets it into the area, cut out well by Sharp. Only as far as Ellis. Ellis flicks it on towards Potts, and then his head on is cut out. And Guiseley have to watch the counter-attack. But here comes Isaac Reed. Reed was tugged back, but the referee lets the advantage go. And then it's well cut out there by Eblay. Reed complains he wants the advantage, but it's gone through. Found Priestley on the break. Priestley can equalise. Great save from Billy Turley to deny Priestley. It all came from a speculative long ball forward. Great running from Priestley. And almost the lob that beat Billy Turley, but you have to say that's a great save from the Brackley keeper.
It was. The Brackley defence were fast asleep there. Adam Priestley was alive to the situation. If he'd been able to shoot maybe with his left foot, he would have stood a better chance, but he's poked it with the outside of his boot. It's heading to the top corner. As you say, a great save from Turley.
Holdsworth now with the corner, up towards the back post. Turley fumbles it. Danny Ellis, he shoots over. He was inside the 6-yard area, had very little time to react after Turley fumbled the ball on the edge of the 6-yard area with an angle. And unfortunately couldn't get enough of his body over the ball, and it's fired over the bar.
Oh, I hate to say it, but anybody in the Guiseley team other than Danny Ellis in that situation, and you're looking at a goal probably, you would have loved to have seen Phil Marsh there for a tap-in to open his account for the season, that he's needing to get started so badly now.
Well, Guiseley just showing their own mettle in the last few moments after the first 10 minutes or so. Certainly have been in Brackley's, but 18 minutes gone there. Adam Priestley and Danny Ellis having chances to get the Lions back on level terms. Now, Priestley on the ball in the halfway line. He's beaten to it, though, here by Reed. Reed helps it forward, cut out well by Maynell. Maynell lofts one down the left channel, forces Austin into an awkward clearance, and then helped all the way back by Cartwright to the goalkeeper, Turley. Turley is waiting for Marsh. Marsh comes forward, tries to block his clearance, but Turley does get the ball up to the halfway line. Helped on now there by Nisovic. Nisovic down the left-hand channel. Cut out by Steve Drench, who advances from his goal. Helps it up to the halfway line. Ellis gets a head onto it, helps it into the Brackley half for a moment. Comes back again, and Holdsworth's loose ball means that Brackley can get a foot on it with Neil Cartwright, but it's rather aimless and goes all the way back to Drench.
Chance for Guiseley to reset here. Long ball going forward, looking for Phil Marsh, but it's very difficult to find the striker's feet from that distance.
Now a long ball forward here. Holdsworth gets something on it. Then Marsh tries to win it. Stands on the ball. Falls down. And it's helped all the way back to the goalkeeper.
And what I mean by that is playing a long ball to Phil Marsh's head is not going to be a strong tactic. And Stephen Drench was looking to get a ball coming through, dropping down to about knee height where Marsh was stood, but it's so difficult to do that accurately.
Griffin and Eblay battle on the edge of the 18-yard box from the long clearance from Turley. Drench gets the ball back. Brooksby helps it here to Potts. Back to Ellis. Ellis forward, looking for Marsh once again. Marsh can't get the flick on onto that. And it's gone all the way back to the goalkeeper, Turley. And those two moments, will we rue those chances later on this game? Because Brackley haven't had many, apart from the one that they've really put away. By rights, really, Guiseley should be on level terms. The ball's forward now into the Brackley half. Cut out, picked up here by Odiambu. He's beaten to it by Brooksby. Taken down by Potts. No space anywhere for Guiseley players to work in. And then Rothery slips and knocks the ball out for a Brackley throw.
And after a few frantic moments after the goal, since then Brackley have settled into a rhythm. They're starting to look a little bit more organised and compact at the back. They're not venturing forward quite so much as they were. Looking to take the sting out of the game, really.
Now Brackley have the ball here with Odiambu. Lays it back to Sharp. He helps it forward. And there's that man, Reid, in there. But good tackling from Eblay. Takes the ball away from him. Plays it into Brooksby. But Brooksby immediately on the back foot has to go backwards. And guys here forced into the error. And Sulkin can start another move down this left-hand side. Ellis gets a foot onto it. Helped away there by Jack Rea. Bounces the ball off Glenn Walker. And Guiseley have the throw.
Sacrilege for a Guiseley fan to say this, but Danny Ellis wants to be trying to find one or two of his own players with these, not the big clearances under pressure, but the ones where he's got a little bit more time. Instead of knocking it just kind of aimlessly forward, he's got to be looking for Wayne Brooksby in that situation.
Well, Marsh has been bundled over just inside the Brackley half, so Guiseley have a free kick. I suspect we want to be taking this one long and getting the big men up. It's just about 1 yard inside the Brackley half. It's gone short in the end. Brooksby is taken down. It's by McDonald. I think, to be fair, he realises he's late and he's caught him. Referee says no further action to the left back. No doubt he's noted it. And it's a good position, this, for Guiseley. It's just in from the touchline, about a yard in, halfway down the Brackley half on the right-hand side.
Reece Maynell's going over to take this from the right, looking to curl it into the box.
Maynell with the free kick on the left foot, curls it in. It's a good one. It's almost got a touch from Marsh, and yet somehow has gone past that left upright and just behind. But it looked like it was too low from Maynell, but it was a brilliant delivery in the end, and Marsh just unable to get the final touch on that ball.
It was a fantastic ball and unbelievable, really, in the end, with the chance that showed itself to Phil Marsh that he couldn't finish it. But this is what we're starting to say, is for all his hard work, he's not scored yet this season. He's starting to look a little bit like a striker, lacking confidence in front of goal.
Well, Turley's taken his time here with recovering this ball. And it's 23 minutes gone. Guiseley 0, Brackley 1 here on Guiseley AFC Radio. Hopefully most of you are here watching the game. But for those exiles, hope you're enjoying our coverage. Guiseley now having to defend, even if you can't enjoy the scoreline. Of course, it's with Nisovic. He tries to get the ball into the area. Danny Ellis lofts a clearance out.
Also welcome any Brackley fans we've got listening as well. We'll do our best to give you as unbiased coverage as we possibly can. Apologies when we refer to we instead of Guiseley, but we'll do our best to give you a balanced view of the game.
Well, I think you mentioned earlier on that Danny Ellis didn't look comfortable. He's clearly got a knock of some sort, because after 23 minutes, it's going to be the first substitute of the game, and it's Mark Bauer who comes on for Ellis. That's not something you want to see, really, so early on. Bauer, of course, himself recovering from an injury and hasn't played a part this season. This is a bit of a clear foray into the game, and he's going to have to help defend things at the moment. Eblay gets a good foot to block Glenn Walker, who just picked up the ball down that left-hand side and tried to get it back into the area. Well cut out, but it is a Brackley corner.
Yeah, certainly you wouldn't have been expecting to be taking a part so early in the game when he arrived at the ground today, Mark Bauer. And of course, this is a brand new defensive partnership between him and Jamil Eblay.
First substitute's been made. Brackley have a corner. They lead by a goal to nil. Guiseley can defend that one easily, though, because it's shanked into the near post. Ball up towards Phil Marsh. He's got two players around him. If this one can go long, it could have found Priestley, but Priestley was in oceans of offside space. And Guiseley, in the end, get the ball hiked all the way back down the other side of the field. And then forward from Drench. Now taken down here by Walker. Walker on the left foot, tries to run forward, skips past Potts. He's got Rea to beat. Goes back again. Brooksby eventually gets a tackle in. And Guiseley will now have to defend another throw as McDonald shapes to step forward. he's offered to take long throws every time he's moved forward as a McDonald, as if the players step back as if he's a long ball specialist, but then each time it's gone short.
Maybe they're just doing it to get an extra body into the box always.
Goes short here this time to Nisovic. Nisovic goes down towards the byline, cut out well by Jack Rea, helped on by Gavin Rothery. There's a free kick given to Guiseley anyway for a late tackle on Rea. So Guiseley can catch a breath, but they need to be doing more than catching the breath at the moment. We need to be getting the ball into the Brackley danger zones.
Yeah, and once again for a home game, no real rhythm to the passing from Guiseley yet. I haven't really seen them getting that 1 and 2 touch passing and movement going that we saw certainly at Gainsborough and at Colwyn Bay.
It looked like there was a nudge there on Wayne Brooksby. He opens his arms as the ball goes forward, but like you say, that passing this time is poor, and it's high and out behind for another throw in. This time to Brackley. It's cool today, very cool.
Yeah, you're shivering, Colin. Are you all right there?
Didn't wear the right jacket today. Guiseley have not done anything to warm the crowd's hearts at the moment. Plenty of chances in this opening period, but they just haven't put any away. The goal on 12 minutes from Isaac Reed just caught the Guiseley defence napping from a throw-in. Good ball in from Glenn Walker, found Isaac Reed inside the area. Easy for him just to bury the ball into the back of the net on 12. But Guiseley have had their chances, and Phil Marsh and Adam Priestley might have got the side back onto level terms. Priestley went through clear on goal. A good save from Billy Turley. And Dally Ellis was at the back post, volleying over after Turley fumbled a few moments later. Ball forward now from Drench, because Guiseley have a free kick. Just can't seem to hold on to the ball. Rea helps it forward. Marsh is offside. Obviously running back from an offside position. And Guiseley concede a free kick again. It's just not sticking, is it, for Guiseley at the moment, Nick?
No, they just haven't been able to get going at all in midfield. They haven't been able to use the full-backs for the overlap because they haven't been holding it in midfield long enough to let the full-backs come down the wings. And so it's very difficult to get any numbers of white shirts towards the Brackley penalty area at all.
Jack Rea just on defensive duties while Nick was speaking. He's just blasted the ball against a Brackley player to earn a goal kick. Drench picks out Priestley on the halfway line. Immediately has 3 players on him. Goes in for a bit of a late tackle. Tries to win the ball from Brett Solkin. Solkin goes down, but I don't think he got a touch actually on Solkin, and he's grasping his ankle at the moment though, and he looks quite generally that he's got some sort of injury, but certainly no malice from Priestley, was there, on that tackle?
It looked like it was for the referee's benefit. I didn't think Adam Priestley got him, but he's gone down. He got down quite convincingly here, although it doesn't sound like he's convinced most of the fans sat in the stand here with us.
He went for the ball, to be fair. I don't think there's too much in it. If the referee does decide to book him, it seems a little harsh considering the earlier tackle that McDonald did on Brooksby. Priestley does certainly look like he's getting the yellow card here.
And Billy Turley here forward, getting himself involved as well, making sure his voice is heard as he's prone to do sometimes.
Well, I'm surprised at that. The yellow card for Adam Priestley, and I think the local fans, as you can probably hear, were also rather surprised. But yeah, yellow card for Adam Priestley. Solkin does look to be in a bit of pain, though, it has to be said.
But that could well have been caused by the landing. He did jump to avoid the challenge and came down. I don't genuinely think there was any contact.
Certainly
he might have
didn't
just landed badly.
For this opening period, opening half hour, trailing by a goal to nil. You know, Guiseley have had their chances, but in all fairness, Brackley are looking the more threatening, their more possession, looking to close Guiseley down much quicker than we're able to cope with, it seems, in midfield.
They are, and it's a very powerful tactic for Brackley to have got the first goal here on a day where we've got so many visitors in the ground. It's going to be very difficult, even more so than usual, to get an atmosphere going when the regulars are a little bit more diluted. The people who are here for the first time don't really know what the chants are or what noise to make or whatever, and so we've got this sort of quiet hubbub in the ground, no real noise coming from around the pitch, and on the pitch, guys, they've been neutralised quite effectively.
Well, Solkin's hobbling off, but the physio did put a thumbs up there, so it doesn't look like there'll be a change. He'll just need a couple of moments probably just to get his boot back on. But yeah, like you say, we need something to happen though in Guiseley's favour. Turley it is. He'll take the free kick inside his own half, just on the edge of the centre circle. Launches it out here down the right-hand side, and it goes out here towards Griffin. Griffin gets the ball into the area, headed away by Eblay. Up here to Priestley. Priestley lays it back now to Holdsworth. Holdsworth tries to pick out Marsh. Cut out here by Sharp. Helped back to Austin. Austin closed down by Priestley. Launched forward here by Austin. And now Reece Maynell has oceans of time just to take the ball down in left-back position and lay it back to Drench.
Adam Priestley's working hard up there to try and make something happen. He's covering a lot of ground to try and get himself in some space where someone will be able to find him with the ball.
Another long one from Drench, looking out for Priestley, but it's easily cut out by Griffin. It's helped on now. Marsh goes chasing with Sharp. Turley comes out and collects. And Tom Sharp did enough there just to help the ball all the way back to the goalkeeper.
And it does look like we have seen the first switch of the wide men of the game. Wayne Brooksby now down here on the left-hand side. Adam Priestley's gone over to the right. Gavin Rothery stays in the centre.
Ball from Turley taken down to Maynell. Maynell swipes a foot of it and it's robbed from him by Charlie Griffin. Bauer has to help it back to Drench, and then Drench tries to return it to Mark Bauer, who was by the corner flag and overhits it. The guys who now have to defend a throw-in just up from the right-hand side.
Well, that's
was Brackley attack.
That's completely out of character for two players as experienced as Stephen Drench and Mark Bauer. Just came from nothing. The throwaway being given away completely needlessly.
So Brackley feign to look as if they're going to take a long throw. This time it is to the edge of the area once again by Cartwright. Cartwright gets the ball back, gets the ball into the area. Drench struggling to get a finger on it, just enough to take it away from the rather large frame of Charlie Griffin. And it's out behind for another corner.
Guiseley remaining under the cosh here. Going to have to, having cleared this corner hopefully, they're going to have to try and build out from the back or try and catch Brackley on the break.
Brackley take the corner, it's whipped in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Header from Austin, it's gone in! And it went in so unconventionally. Austin headed towards the ground. And there was no one there to stop it. Drench completely unaware of where the ball was, and Guiseley now find themselves 2 goals behind, and Brackley are looking very, very comfortable after 33 minutes.
That was one of those freak goals that just comes about through a ball bobbling around in the box, completely wrong-footed. The keeper, Drench, and just rolled past him into the net. A real heartbreaker for Guiseley, that.
Well, this is not turning out to be a good afternoon here at Nethermoor on the field. Off it's been fantastic. But Brackley, well, they've done everything they can to spoil the Lions' day. 2 goals in the opening 30 minutes for the visitors. And Guiseley now find themselves with a mountain to climb. And the rain starts to fall as well. So everyone seeks cover into the stands. The ball back here with Billy Turley for Brackley. And once again, you get the feeling the flow of possession and play is coming back into the Guiseley half. Headed away by Bauer, finds Rothery inside his own half. Under pressure, 3 around, no options to find any others. Goes back to Rhea. Does well to hold on the ball, then it goes long, and it's cut out by Sharp. And Guiseley just have to try and ramp things up somewhat. And Chris Holland very animated down there in the dugout, trying to urge the Lions onwards. Ball in here with Rothery from Rhea's throw. Rothery with no space, no time on the ball at all. And it's cleared away by Nisovic. This time Griffin is offside. And so Guiseley will have a free kick.
It just looks like at the moment, almost like watching a Brackley home game. They have the possession, they have the strength to keep Guiseley looking for scraps and long balls, which aren't going to pay off because there isn't a tall striker to aim for. Guys are going to have to really think again at half-time how they're going to get through the Brackley defence and actually start to make something happen for themselves here.
Well, that's just a passage of play there. Mark Bauer had the ball on the halfway line, and a combination of Griffin and Odiambu effectively forced Guiseley to play all the ball all the way back to Drench, and they're still not got out of their own half at the moment. Eblay has it, and he takes a swipe at it. misses the ball, does fortunately get it back, and then Potts helps it on forward towards Marsh. Can't get the return ball from Marsh. And Brackley very effectively retained possession. Long ball forward this time. Bauer cuts it out. Odiambu does bundle Holdsworth over this time, guys. They get the free kick. And Brooksby has to do something. He starts one of his surging runs down the left-hand side. Checks his run, lays it right to Rothery. Rothery tries to open up some space and get a shot away. Weak left-footed shot. It's gone behind for a goal kick.
Yep, going to need to see a few more runs like that if Wayne Brooksby's going to have had a successful day come 4:45, but I'm afraid it's going to be back to the drawing board once they get into the dressing room, forget Sky Sports and forget non-league day and kick it out and all of that. Steve Kittrick will be telling them, as it stands, you've got 45 minutes to start from scratch and try and come from a 2-goal deficit and get something from this game.
Billy Turley takes the goal kick. It goes into the Guiseley half. Bauer gets a touch on it, knocks it out for a throw-in. Brackley now just slowing things down. 2 goals to the good. Isaac Reed scored on 12 minutes. And then Ryan Austin, the captain, it was, who headed it goal-bound and on the side of the goalkeeper and somehow just trickled over the line. And we wait as the ball goes forward now into touch for Guiseley to restart with Steve Drench. And a tough afternoon this. Brackley doing very well to close things down, aren't they?
We mustn't play that down at all. Brackley have been excellent. They've been very, very strong. They've come with a compact, organised formation. They've moved the ball around a lot better than Guiseley have, and they've defended more strongly as well.
Rhea, at right back, comes into the Brackley half, helps it forward towards Priestley, past Priestley, cut out by McDonald. Throw in, Jack Rhea, about halfway into the Brackley half on this right-hand side, plays it short to Potts. Potts and Rothery, just no space to start anything going. Closed down so much, unable to do anything in midfield except for concede possession, and then forward comes Nisovic, and a combination of Rhea and Bauer have to take the ball away before Walker can advance. Now Guiseley are on the back foot again. It's McDonald just inside the Lions half, takes it with the left-hand side throw, earns another one as they make up the yards on that left-hand channel. And now have a throw just on the edge of the 18-yard box. And it's all gone very slow from Brackley's perspective, hasn't it? Really taking the sting out of it now.
Yeah, they've done it very effectively as well, holding on to the ball, taking time at the set pieces and the throw-ins, and kills any rhythm Guiseley could try to get going.
And so Guiseley now defending this throw that's taken on the left-hand side from McDonald into Odiambu. Cut out well here by Jack Rhea. Helps it up towards the edge of the centre circle inside his own half. Ball from Phil Marsh finds Brooksby. Brooksby has 3 players on him immediately. Cut out, beaten to it when he plays it back to Holdsworth. Rothery has to get a tackle in on Odiambu, but Brackley recover possession once again and come forward with Cartwright. Cartwright in here to Isaac Reed. Brooksby looking to try and get the ball back, but good interplay and passing sends Walker on his way down the right-hand side, and Brackley keep coming forward, and Bauer gets the tackle in, but concedes another corner to Brackley. A third goal would kill this game, wouldn't it?
It would, but as soon as the ball went out, Mark Bauer's turning round, gesturing to his defenders where he wants them to be, trying to get them organised into some sort of shape.
Well, Guiseley now have to defend this corner. They trail 2-0 here on Guiseley AFC radio. The corner comes in this time by Walker, almost finds the head of Charlie Griffin, but it goes over him and out behind for a goal kick. And I'm afraid Guiseley look a little bit at 6s and 7s at the moment.
They do, and sorry if we sound deflated. We did promise we would try and be as unbiased in our commentary as we could, but it's been a fantastic day. We've been so excited having all these new faces and media in the ground, but at the moment on the pitch, it's just not going the way the home fans want at all.
The clearance goes up from Drench towards McDonald and Priestley. McDonald wins the battle and earns the throw-in. Something's going to have to change the second half. It's about been as bad as it could be. Guys, you've spurned the few chances they've had.
I wonder what he's going to do to change it. We're a striker down with Craig Hobson being missing, so the only striker option we've got left is James Burgess. It's Zach Dale as well and Jake Lawler on the bench. There's two other options for creative midfield players, but it's who do you take off and which way do you reorganise this?
Well, Brackley are forced into a change. Brett Solkin, who was the subject of that tackle that received a yellow card from Adam Priestley. Didn't look like he made connection, but he has sustained some sort of injury. And Guiseley have just conceded possession. Brett Solkin's gone off and Steve Towers gone on. Guiseley just took the throw, had a chance to come on a counter-attack, and rather frustratingly, Phil Marsh has been pulled up for a handball as he took the ball down on his chest, or tried to take it down.
And that sums up the first half, really. Anytime there's been a glimpse of a good move coming together, something frustrating has taken the rhythm and momentum out of it.
Well, the gloom's come down here on Nethermoor. It's raining. We're 2-0 down. Danny Ellis has got injured. And Guiseley on the back foot once again. The ball goes in. A good blasted shot there from Isaac Reed. And it took a remarkable block there. I think it was from Rhys Maynell to stop it going goal-bound, and that could easily have been the third.
Well, Reed's had a great first half, hasn't he? He's looked so dangerous on the ball and getting into the box at will. Good block, as you say, from Rhys Maynell there, but a third on the stroke of half-time, and you'd have to say this game would be over.
So corner once again to Brackley. 41 minutes gone. Guiseley trail by 2-0. Brackley in control of this game. Have a corner to try and make it 3. Ball up to the back post, headed on by Austin. In towards the edge of the area where Potts clears it, finds Marsh. Marsh, no options, has to go back here to Maynell. There's chances now for Guiseley to counter-attack, but it's well cut out there by Odiambu. Ebley picks up the ball inside his own half. Now Jack Rea can start some possession for Guiseley, but can't keep possession in the ball in play. And, it's so frustrating. It's gone out into touch, and it's going to be another throw into Brackley.
Oh, it's almost funny, wasn't it? Again, a few passes played, and then the ball just needlessly trickling over the touchline and out for a throw into Brackley.
Brackley is so good at harrying teams and getting them out of their shape, and that's certainly what's happened today. Flicked on here. Bauer's got Walker chasing him down, forced into launching it clear. Does prevent the ball going behind for a corner. Another throw into Brackley, just about level with the 6-yard box. Guiseley trailing by 2-0. And Brackley have a throw in. Level with the 6-yard box on the left-hand side. McDonald takes it into the feet of Walker. A tackle on him from Priestley. Out into touch. And Chris Holland helps it back. I mind seeing Chris Holland out there every now and again, I tell you.
He looked good as he was warming up before the match, actually.
Now, guys, you have to defend because Walker's twisting and turning down by the corner flag and does really well to get the ball into the area, but it's cut out by Ebley. He helps it forward. Now's a sniff of a chance for Phil Marsh to get onto it. Austin launches it into the crowd, and it's also helped out by Cartwright. So Guiseley now have a throw just inside the Brackley half on the left-hand side. It's Rhys Maynell. Takes it down to Marsh. Maynell into the feet of Rothery. Rothery in here to Brooksby. Brooksby just can't get away from the touchline. And then when the ball does come in, Odiambu's there to cut it out. Back out to the touchline where Brooksby and Rothery get it. They can't make any headway with it. Goes back to Potts, back to Maynell. Speculative ball forward. Flicked on by Sharp. Takes it back to Turley. Just for an instant there, just for a moment, it looked like Marsh might get on the end of it. None of it. It's gone back to the goalkeeper.
Oh, you have to admire the pressing by Brackley. That was absolutely excellent. Guys, they could not find an inch there. Really struggling to move it. Even 2- and 3-yard passes when the players are close together because of how well Brackley were getting onto the Guiseley players, hurrying them on the ball, blocking them from where they want to play it next. And at the end, the move sputters out with a speculative long ball, as you say.
Yeah, it's a super performance, this, from Brackley. Deeply disappointing for the Lions. Guiseley are trailing by 2-0. Isaac Reed on 12 minutes. And Ryan Austin, the captain, on 33. And you may have just heard that. There'll be an additional 2 minutes. Do we have to? Steve Drench gets the ball because it's going to be a goal kick for Guiseley. And he'll launch this one into the opponent's half. Once again, Brackley recover it and immediately come forward here with Griffin. Griffin takes it down. Reed launches it forward. Ebley has to watch this under pressure from Griffin. Griffin makes a claim, an optimistic one at that, of handball against Ebley. Help back to Drench. The rain really thundering down now here at Nethermoor. And Guiseley have it now with Reese Maynell. Maynell plays it forward. Then touched back here poorly by Rothery, but well cut out here by Bauer. Helped out to the right-hand side where Priestley's looking for it. If Priestley can get past McDonald, he can't. Can't take it down, and it's gone behind for a throw-in.
Time for a literary reference, I think. After the Solihull game, we were talking about pathetic fallacy, which is where the weather matches the mood of the people in something like a Shakespeare play. And the last time we saw rain like this was the Solihull game, and once again a miserable performance, and the weather has turned absolutely awful.
Well, we're a little ray of sunshine here, aren't we, this afternoon on Guiseley Radio.
It's fantastic radio, this, sorry.
2-0 down, and we're experiencing the rain. We're all rather depressed, but Guiseley do have the ball now on the halfway line. Helped it all the way back to Steve Drench. Drench has few options ahead of him, and the one he takes, well, he launches it into the stands, and much frustration around. Drench himself doesn't look particularly happy with himself. And Guiseley will play out these last 2 minutes. Referee's actually decided that's enough. And with the rain flinging down on all the players out there, the game certainly looks like the result is pretty much not in doubt. It's going to be Brackley at this moment who are going to take all 3 points. 2 goals in the first half for the visitors. Isaac Reed on 12 minutes. Guiseley went napping. Glenn Walker picked up the ball from the throw-in, laid it back to Reed. Reed tucked it away neatly. The second from a corner. The ball just launched into the area. Just nodded goal-bound by Austin. Steve Drench didn't know where it was, and it's just trickled over the line into the back of the net. And the Lions are 2-0 down. And they've had the chances, but I have to say, at half-time here, deservedly, it's Brackley who lead. Guiseley 0, Brackley 2.
And as you say, it is a deserved lead. It's been a turgid first half for Guiseley. Nothing has gone their way. They made the chances that they had inside the 6-yard box that they probably should have scored would have changed the look of this game, but they might not have changed the fact that Brackley are playing a better game of football than Guiseley here, and so as they go in 2-0 up, they are good value for that.
Well, they certainly are. Well, we're going to have a cup of coffee now, or a cup of tea, do whatever we can to cheer ourselves up. Hopefully the second half will be a much better affair. But to keep you up to date with all the scores at half-time, we're going to hand you over to Tom Feeney. But first, here's Tim Richards.
Thanks, Colin. So, yeah, disappointing first half, you've got to say, for Guiseley so far. 2-0 down to a very well-organised Brackley side. We will bring you the rest of the games from the Skrill North, but we'll start with the League One. Obviously, there's no Premiership and Championship with the international break. So in League One, there was yearly kick-off between MK Dons and Swindon. Swindon travelling there. They were 1-0 up in the first half, but then the second half it all went wrong as Byrne got sent off, and 4 minutes later, Patrick Bamford put them in level. MK Dons battled for that winner, but they couldn't get it, so Swindon all 1-1. Elsewhere in the league, it's a good first half for Bradford at the moment. Former Guiseley man James Hanson with that first half goal. They are certainly finding their feet in that league. 1-0 against Brentford. Elsewhere, it's Carlisle 0, Port Vale 0, Crawley 0, Gillingham 0. Crewe are 2-1 up at home to Peterborough. Sheffield United in an all-Yorkshire affair with Rotherham. Sheffield United 1-0 up at Rotherham. Great first half for them. Baxter with the goal. Tranmere 0, Stevenage 0 is the final League One fixture. So we'll go into League Two now. Not as many games as there would have been there in League One. Obviously, some teams will have had international players. So in Sky Bet League Two, it's Burton 0, Oxford United 0, Cheltenham 1, Portsmouth 2, Chesterfield 0, Accrington 0, Dagenham and Redbridge 1, Exeter 0, Fleetwood 2, Torquay 0, Hartlepool 0, Wickham 0, Newport 1, Mansfield 0, Northampton 0, Scunthorpe 0, Plymouth 0, Bristol Rovers 0, Rochdale 1 up at home to Bury. It's Southend 1, Morecambe 1, and York 0, Wimbledon 1. So that's the Sky Bet League 2. We'll move down to the Skrill Leagues with the Football Conference first. In the Skrill Conference Premier, it's Aldershot 0, Macclesfield 0. Alfreton are 2-1 up at home to Woking. Great first half for them. It's Braintree 1, Forest Green 1. Forest Green were ahead, but Braintree have pulled it back there. It's Chester 0, Dartford 0. Chester 0, Dartford 0 there, goalless. And Halifax, the old enemies of Guiseley, are 1-0 up at home to Barnet. So a better first half this week than last week, you've got to say, for Halifax there. Gateshead 2-0 up at home to Hereford, Walker with 2 goals. Hyde 0, Cambridge 1. Lincoln City 0, Salisbury 1. Nuneaton 0, Wrexham 0. Tamworth 1, Southport 1. And Welling 0, Kidderminster 2, with the late kick-off between Luton and Grimsby. So we'll go to the Skrill North now, the all-important division. We haven't got all the fixtures in yet, as the delay of the scores coming through. We'll try and get to them as we can. But this is the time to introduce again at half-time is Tom Feeney.
Well, the worst first half, really. Guys, they could have asked for a really poor performance by the Lions, I've got to say. But I think you've got to say that hopefully in the second half things can only get better. And I think when you look at maybe 1 or 2 results can go Guiseley's way, so they can stay in the top half of the table if it does result in another loss for Guiseley. But I think you've got to say that maybe 1 or 2 positive signs. Adam Priestley looking effective, running down the wings, putting a lot of effort into his play. I think he was unlucky to get booked. I think he's going for a 50-50 challenge. On another day, I think the referee just gives a bit of a talking to. But I just think in defence there've been 1 or 2 problems, a few misplaced passes, and Brackley have punished them.
Yeah, so words of Tom Feeney there, and we'll go on to this division. As we say, we haven't got them all through yet. We'll try to bring them through before the second half kicks off. But it's Telford 0, Harrogate Town 0. As we said, Guiseley at home here, 2-0 down to Brackley. Disappointing first half for the Lions. Pace setters Hednesford are 2-0 down at half-time to North Ferriby. North Ferriby United having a good start to the season, and that's carrying on 2-0 up. But Hednesford, that would be disappointing for them, hoping to keep top of the table there. Stalybridge 0, Solihull Moors 2 is the half-time score there. 2 goals, Beswick and Bogle with the goals for Solihull Moors. Is 2-1 up at home to Boston United.
And probably will be one of Guiseley's main challenges. So for that to be 0-0, I think that'll be a tight game. Both sides won't really want to be dropping points so early in the season, getting losses after both have had really good starts to the season.
Yeah, so we'll bring another score. Is Oxford City 0, Colwyn Bay 0. So that's the latest score at the moment. We're still trying to get some scores in from elsewhere, especially between Stockport and Gainsborough. That'll be a great game with Stockport and Gainsborough both without a win. Gainsborough without a single point. Guiseley travelled there and got that 2-1 win earlier in the season. So Stockport, Gainsborough. I mean, Tom, surely Stockport have got to start winning some games.
Well, it's an incredible start to the season for them for all the wrong reasons. They played Harrogate Town last Saturday, and it was an awful 5 minutes. They conceded 3 goals, 3 quite cheap goals in 5 minutes, and afterwards their manager walks out on the club. He quits. I think you've got to look at the squad they've got. The likes of Phil Jevons, someone who a few years ago in League 2 was scoring a few goals. He did all right in the conference. He's someone who surely at this level will get at least 10, 15 goals. And I think Stockport have to start winning, but the squad is not the squad that they once had. And I think just because of the name they are, people assume that they've got a really good squad and financially they're doing all right. Well, simply that is not the case at the moment.
Well, yeah, Stockport only in League 1 in 2010. It's a real shock for them. Playing this division. And as we were talking about before the game, they've got to try and settle in this league and realise that everything's not going to go their way and it's not going to be straightforward. Guiseley pushing on these playoffs each year, but they've had a tough start to the season, and it's just everyone battling out. Don't you agree for this top spots?
Well, I think this season is a lot closer than it was last season. Last season, Chester, by this point, really were starting to just run away with it a little bit. Guiseley were trying to keep up with them and went on that run, then lost to Chester, and then Chester really just ran away with it. This season, there isn't really one side that you can say, yeah, they're going to run away with this league this year. And like you said, every side is just trying to grind out the points. And, you know, a team like Brackley today, that's exactly what they're doing. And they've taken their chances. And now for guys in the second half, they've got to try and take theirs.
Yeah, so the scores we're still waiting to get in are Barrow v Gloucester, Histon v Workington, Leamington v Altrincham. Altrincham have a great start to the season, and obviously Stockport v Gainsborough. In the other game we were talking about, North Ferriby United against Hednesford. Hednesford have a great start to the season, but they're 2-0 down after an early goal from Yates and a late goal from Wilson. So perfect first half for North Ferriby, scoring just before half-time as well. What do you think? What do you make of North Ferriby's chances this season?
I think they're a really good unit. What I've seen of them, I've seen them twice this season, and you know they've got some really attacking players, which will also help. Matt Wilson, who's former Guiseley lad, he lives near North Ferriby. That's why he went over to them. You know, he offers a real defensive midfielder, and I just think North Ferriby will be one of the surprise packages for the playoffs. I know their manager has said that they're at the moment they are just aiming to survive. They are aiming to get the points to stay in the league, but I think they will be trying to get into the playoffs just with the squad they've got.
Yeah, so one more scoreline just coming. We just mentioned Leamington, Altrincham. Altrincham, as we said, have had a great start to the season, and they've had a great start to this game. Reeves with a goal on 20 minutes, leaving Altrincham looking like to be top of the pile. What do you make of their chances this season?
Well, I think you've got to look at their front partnership of James Walsher and Damien Reeves. And when you've got a player like Damien Reeves who turned down moves to the SPL, he turned down moves to League Two. You know, he's a player who gets you 30-plus goals. Then James Walshaw gets you 15 goals, 45 goals a season from your front two. You've got a great chance of going up, and, well, Tim, that Stockport score has come in.
Yeah, we'll move on to that one now. Stockport just come in, the half-time score there. Massive game, Stockport, needing those 3 points at home to Gainsborough, who are also struggling. And would you believe it, Stockport are finally winning. We've been given some half-time scores out, and it's just been doom and gloom when we've been reading out their name. I think they've been losing 3-0 at half-time. But anyway, Dennis has given Stockport the lead 4 minutes before half-time. The goal they need, managerless Stockport with the caretaker manager in charge at the moment, Ian Bogey, resigning like Tom said last week. So looking a bit brighter for Stockport, but they've still got a long way to go this season. But looking at this division anyway, I mean, Guiseley, mid-table so far. Surely it's too early to call positions who's doing well at the moment.
Well, yeah, it most certainly is, because if Guiseley were to turn this around and win 3-2, they'd actually go level on points with Brackley, who are currently third in the table. So it's one of them, with it being so tight in the top 10, 11, 12 places, you get a win, you can push yourself right into the playoff positions. And I think that's what guys will have to look at. If they can get a point today, salvage something from today, they'll have to see this is a good day's work really after this first.
Yeah, so as our last scoreline comes in, we'll just run through those half-time scores one more time for you. So it's Telford 0, Harrogate Town 0. The scoreline just come in, the final one there. Gloucester, who were Guiseley's opponents last week, are goalless at half-time with Barrow. That's at Barrow. As we said, it's not good here at Nethermoor so far if you're a Guiseley fan. Great if you're a Brackley fan. Brackley 2-0 up here at Guiseley. It's Histon 2, Workington 0, Leamington 0, Altrincham 1. Altrincham, as we said, the early pace setters, one up at half-time. North Ferriby United 2, Hednesford 0. Poor start for the first half for Hednesford. You'd expect them to be in front, but they are trailing 2 goals down. Oxford City 0, Colwyn Bay 0, Stalybridge 0, Solihull Moors 2. Great first half for Solihull there in Stalybridge. Stockport, as we said, 1-0 up at Gainsborough. Huge goal for them. We'll see if they can hold on to it. We'll try and get that final scoreline in for you if we can. Vauxhall Motors 2, Boston United 1, and Worcester 0, Bradford Park Avenue 1. So great first half for Bradford Park Avenue. And it's perfect timing as we finish that, as the teams come out for the second half. We'll say bye to Tom. Thanks for that, Tom. First half, second half coming up. So as we stand here at Nethermoor, it's still 2-0 to Brackley. Guiseley trailing. But we'll return you back to our commentary for the second half of Nik Keefe and Colin Robertson.
Thanks, Tim. And yes, we're happy to say the rain has somewhat relieved itself, and now we've got... that's another classic one, I'm sure. And now we've got the two teams back out onto the pitch. The half-time entertainment's been very ably provided by the Guiseley juniors, the girls under 9s and the boys from Menston. So we've at least seen some football at half-time, played in Guiseley shirts, but it has to be said, the first 45 of this match has been pretty woeful from a Guiseley perspective. Much more needed in the second half, Nick.
Yeah, I think it can't get any worse than that first half, can it? And hopefully now the players have had a chance to get off into the changing rooms and have a drink and, like you say, relieve themselves. And maybe get a bit of a talking to from the manager. Come on, let's be serious. Get a talking to from the manager. They'll come out more organised for the second half. I'm sure they'll come out looking more energetic and more like they're ready to fight for this. But the question is, has the damage already been done in those first 45?
Well, you think that Steve Kittrick will want to change it at some point, but Guiseley have already been well and truly on the back foot in the first half. They start the second half without any changes on the bench and immediately send the ball down here to Jack Rea. Rea gets it across, goes down towards the touchline, tries to get a ball past Curtis MacDonald and into the area, but can't do so. Does find Rothery, though, with a short one. And then it's knocked out into touch for a throw into Guiseley. Much more tempo immediately from Guiseley. Rothery gets it in towards the area, gets a little bit of a deflection on the cross and earns his side a corner. And Guiseley get the opportunity to whip this ball into the area and hopefully get something on the end of it. Just 40 seconds into this second half. Rhys Maynell coming across to take it. And there's 4-5 white shirts in around the penalty spot. Whipped in towards the edge of the area, headed away, only as far as Rothery, still in the penalty area, tries to loft the ball back in. Eblay tries to head it, goal bound, and then a looping header from Marsh over the bar again. And a good start for the Lions, but no goal at the end of it.
Exactly the response Steve Kittrick would have wanted from his players after half-time. They've come out, they've moved the ball around, had some possession, made a chance from the corner. They've had a couple of chances from the corner. Very good goalkeeping from Billy Turley, getting over Jamil Eblay and punching above his head to clear the ball away under a lot of pressure, and then reduced to that, as you say, the looping effort from Phil Marsh just dropping beyond the crossbar.
Looks to me as if we've had a bit of a formation change. It looks like Priestley and Marsh are playing as a 2 up front. Guiseley now under pressure. Maynell knocks the ball out into touch. 46 minutes gone. The Lions trail by 2 first half goals to 0. Now Brackley come forward with Walker. He goes down towards the touchline, lays it back here to MacDonald. Donald has a few options. Isaac Reed, sorry it is. He's got few options, has to go back to Cartwright. Cartwright in towards the edge of the 18-yard box where Walker's looking for it, can't keep it in touch. And it's gone behind for a goal kick to Guiseley. And, the sun's out here. You have to feel for the juniors, don't you, that they've had all that time on the pitch at half-time, absolutely flinging it down, and as soon as they go off, the sun's come out and it's perfectly dry.
Bless them, that was a big ask, wasn't it? They were absolutely freezing out there. Poor kids were out there providing the half-time entertainment, and almost literally as soon as they stop playing, as you say, the sun's come out and it's a beautiful late summer day again.
Some drenched kids walking around, it has to be said. It was great though. Now Guiseley can start their own attack here with Potts. Potts helps it outwards towards Marsh. Marsh has got Austin to beat. Now 2 players on him. Twists backwards, lays the ball in towards Potts, but Potts has got a big ass to try and get onto the end of that ball. Up to the halfway line. Rea and Holdsworth combine on the halfway line. Not able just to find the passes that they want for each other. Holdsworth sprays it out wide towards Maynell. Maynell lays it in here to Potts. Potts backs to Bauer, and the problem is Brackley closing down so well that players haven't got time or space to get their feet or their passing options made. But they've done well to hold on to possession here. Rothery out wide to Mainel on the left-hand side. Tries to get the ball forward, but closed down so sharply by Eddie Nisovic. It's going to be another throw-in.
The big difference between that and what you would have seen in the first half was that when the ball did go back to Mark Bauer at centre-back, he actually found somebody with his long ball and the possession wasn't lost.
And the ball goes into Priestley. Priestley's muscled off. Odiambu just stands across him. And the free kick's then given because Priestley just tries to get the better of Odiambu, but just brings him down. And it's a free kick to Brackley, just on the edge of their edge of their penalty area. Turley launches it long, and Griffin is penalised for an infringement, and then tries to waste a few moments there by kicking the ball away. And I'm surprised actually he didn't get booked for that. That's unusual, actually.
Well, the whole country saw Danny Welbeck get a yellow card for much less than that last night at Wembley, and that was a real cynical stopping of the free kick being taken, kicking it away, time wasting. It's surprising nothing was done.
Now, Priestley tries to win it from McDonald. McDonald's got his arms on him. Priestley doesn't go to ground, though. Helps the ball back to Brooksby. Back here to Rhea. Holdsworth. About 20 yards from goal, 25 yards from goal. Plays a nice 1-2 in here with Phil Marsh. Now for good football from Guiseley. Potts out here to Mainel. If Mainel can get the ball into the area, there's 3 shirts to aim for. Tries to get the cross. It's blocked. Goes behind for a corner, though. Better from Guiseley.
Period of sustained pressure. And guys will be looking to get another chance on goal here. Put the keeper under pressure, maybe from the cross. Maybe get a head on it. Maybe get a shot on target finally.
Bauer, Eblay, Priestley, Rothery, Marsh all in the area. Holdsworth will take this corner from the left-hand side in towards the area. Eblay gets a flick on it. So does the defender. It's gone behind for another corner to Guiseley, but a really good corner there from Holdsworth. Dangerous swinging in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. And Guiseley have a second bite of this cherry. If they could get an early goal back into this second half, could start out for an interesting last period to this game. Still 2-0 to Brackley. Corner to the Lions, though. On the right-hand side as they attack this goal. Mainel in towards the penalty area. Priestley gets a shot away, blocked. Brackley can't clear the lines. Eventually they do. And that chance there to Priestley. He turned well, got a shot, stabbed it goal bound. But there was a man in the way. And guys, you now just have to settle for the throw-in. Throw-in inside the Brackley half. Short here to Marsh. Brooksby helps it across left to Potts. Potts beats one man, helps it forward to Brooksby, then gets another 1-2 in towards Marsh. Marsh just doesn't get the control he needed. Slips over when it goes all the way back to the goalkeeper, but better stuff here in the second half from Guiseley.
Oh, it's been a very positive start to the second half. Moving it around well with the confidence that they really lacked in the first.
Well, the clearance of the goalkeeper. Bauer almost lost it in the sun, which is different to the first half as well. And does well to recover the situation. Jack Rhea now with the ball on the right-hand side. Given away by Brooksby, though, from Rhea. And then Brackley can move down the left-hand side. It's forward. Eblay has to watch it to keep the ball away from Griffin. And then Stephen Drench can complete the clearance up to the halfway line. Holdsworth, Potts on the halfway line with Rothery. Guiseley can't go forward, but some good football here. Better football from Guiseley. Mainel's got no options. He's under tremendous pressure from Reid. Does well, turns his man, then launches it down left field. But Rothery's not going to be able to get ahead of Cartwright. Cartwright helps it back to the goalkeeper, and then he clears. And now it's a chance for Brooksby, because Brooksby can take advantage of a loose ball, but tries to play the ball through Reid. Good tackle from Andy Holdsworth. Finds Rhea in the same time. Helps it in towards Priestley. Priestley onto Rhea. Rhea into the penalty area. Tackled by Odiambu. It's gone behind for a corner.
This is much more like it. The question is, how soon can they get a goal and get back into this?
Guiseley on the right-hand side this time with the corner. Still 2-0 down. Both those goals coming in the first half. Isaac Reid and Ryan Austin for Brackley in the opening half hour. But Guiseley with this corner now, a chance to get something back into this. The corner whipped in. Headed behind once again. It's going to be another corner on that same side. Ball bounces over into the car park. And, it's just behind that goal, actually. And Priestley was orchestrating the return of the ball. It's going to be Maynell again with his left foot on the right-hand side. Lays it short this time to Brooksby. Gets the ball in this time from the return. Up towards Eblay. Bounces in the area. Mark Bauer with a header just over the bar. Guiseley appeal that it took a deflection. Referee says no. Bauer furious. It's a goal kick nonetheless. That was a good move.
It was, and Guiseley have got to keep this up because they want to give themselves as long as possible to get back into this game, and that relies on getting a goal early while they've got the momentum at the start of the second half, and then having time to build and trying to find a second.
Well, it's a goal kick, and I have to say the Guiseley bench weren't happy as well. Turley's goal kick straight to Brooksby, back here to Holdsworth. Holdsworth's beaten to it though by Walker. And now closing down here from Brooksby, much better. Eblay under pressure here from Griffin to Rhea. Eblay under pressure, does well though, helps it back to Bauer and all the way back to Stephen Drench. Drench looks for options, plays it short to Eblay. Guiseley taking much better shape in this half, working much more space. Brooksby now running into the Brackley half, plays it out right to the on-running Jack Rhea. Rhea cuts inside, is taken down, earns a free kick. A good sort of 30 yards from goal. But this will be a chance for Guiseley to get the ball into the area and the big men forward.
And that's the difference between this already in the second half and the whole of the first half is in that position. Guiseley wouldn't have won a free kick, the move would have petered out, and as we say, the momentum of the move would have been lost, but this time they've still got an opportunity to get an effort on goal.
55 minutes gone, the free kick's taken, whipped in towards the edge of that penalty area, the penalty spot, sorry, but it's beaten everyone and it's gone straight to the goalkeeper. Offside flag was raised anyway. Now Brackley can counter-attack here. Reid, the danger man down this right-hand side. He's got Odiambu racing forward in the area. Overhits the cross. It's going to be kept in here by Nisovic. No, it's not. It's gone way beyond him and behind for a throw-in.
A little bit wild. Right back. A little bit wild, that cross. Sorry, Colin. A little bit wild, far too deep. And Nisovic did, as you say, looked like he was going to get it down there and get an opportunity to build again, but instead, Guiseley start from the right-back area.
Throw from Jack Rhea, headed out once again. Rhea gets a second chance to start it. Lays it back here to Eblay. Eblay on the edge of his own penalty area and plays it short to Rhea. As soon as he tries to play the ball forward, there's pressure. He plays it up here to Phil Marsh. Right out on the touchline, just inside the Brackley half. Poor ball from Marsh, given away to Nisovic. Nisovic sends a ball down the left-hand channel where Odiambu tries to collect. Odiambu's beaten to it by Eblay. Eblay knocks it out into touch. And Guiseley now have a throw. And it's now just beginning to swing a little bit back towards Brackley, isn't it, again, last few moments. They're just beginning to get forward.
It is, and that was the danger of not converting from that early momentum in the second half.
Throw taken here by MacDonald. Beaten to it by Rothery, but he can't keep the possession. It's gone out for a throw-in. MacDonald now about level with the 18-yard box. Left-hand side. Brackley shooting towards the railway end here. Short to Walker. Walker into the feet of Nisovic. Nisovic gets it into the area. Easy for Drench to collect. Now Guiseley can counter-attack. Drench will try and do one of these quick clearances again. Up towards Priestley. Priestley gets the flick on. Headed away by Sharp. Now taken down by Odiambu as Brackley return possession into the Guiseley territory. Looking for Griffin. But well shepherded back by Mark Bauer. And then in here to Eblay. Guiseley in their own half with Brooksby. Plays a nice 1-2 with Rothery. Gets over the halfway line. Has options to the left. Bounces off Isaac Reid. And Reid collects the ball off Cartwright. And then is tackled by Potts. And it's out for a throw-in inside Brackley's half. But it's a Brackley throw.
And good work by Brackley to try and seize back the initiative after that early period of pressure, after the half-time break. Very even possession again now in the last 5 minutes, and Brackley looking dangerous going forward.
Yeah, Brackley just a quick throw there, and Walker tried to skip past his man. Picked out by Maynell and then helped back to Eblay and Drench. And Drench plays to Eblay, but he was under a bit of pressure there from Griffin. Holdsworth now has an option of Jack Rea on the right-hand side with a great run. So does Gavin Rothery. Rothery finds Rea. Rea with a great overlapping run into the penalty area, gets the ball across the face of goal. Nobody on the end of it. And in the end, Reid steps across, prevents it going behind for a corner, and it's a throw-in to Guiseley just up from that corner flag. Taken quickly now. Oh, Rhys Maynell. Heavy challenge in on him, but fair from Walker. And then Guiseley let possession go, but that was once again another chance, wasn't it?
Fantastic move by Guiseley. Jack Rea making up tons of ground down the right-hand side, coming on the overlap for probably one of the first times we've seen him do that today. An excellent cross going into the area, and it was just aching for somebody to get on the end of it.
Where's all this space come from? It wasn't there in the first half. Guiseley have a chance to get this. In the end, it just bounces awkwardly off Rhys Maynell's head and out behind for a throw-in.
We watched Gloucester do a fantastic 90-minute job of closing down and pressing and keeping on the pressure on the other team while they were in possession last week. Perhaps Brackley won't be able to see that out for 90 minutes in the way that Gloucester did.
Well, they could still do some damage now with Walker down this right-hand side. He's held up by Ebley. He's going into the penalty area, though, on the right-hand side. Gets the ball crossed up to the head of Nisevic at the back post. And Nisevic heads it over. And it's gone behind for a goal kick. No sign of any changes yet on the bench, but both Burgess and... I don't know who else is warming up, but Burgess certainly is warming up down there. And Jake Lawler, sorry, are warming up. Ebley has the ball. Sends it long. Skips past Rothery, and then it's taken away by Odiambu. McDonald sends it out wide here to Griffin. Griffin's kept himself on side, on the left-hand side now. He's got options to his right, plays it into Walker. Walker back here to Nisevic. Nisevic lays it back to Odiambu. The momentum gone for a moment, but Odiambu just some fine running and a good creativity to get the ball into Nisevic. Cut out well there by Jack Rea. And Guiseley now concede the throw. Curtis McDonald it'll be to take the throw short here to the substitute, Steve Towers. Well, McDonald tried to go through two players, goes to ground. Guiseley are very frustrated that the referee's given that free kick. And it's going to be just inside the touchline, surely. They've moved it a long, long way away from where it was. And the referee's allowing it. Well, that's nowhere near where it was taken.
No, that's a bizarre one. I don't know why he's let that go.
Towers has the ball now for Guiseley, for Brackley. They've decided to opt short. They had better choices, I thought. But they've got it now with Cartwright. Cartwright on the right-hand side has got players in the area. Cut out well by Mark Bauer. Bauer had to come on for Danny Ellis. Laid down here to Phil Marsh. Marsh into Maynell. Long ball forward. Priestley's well offside. And the chance for the counter-attack.
You say he's well offside. I think he's very poorly offside there. He's an awfully long way behind the defence, and no need for it really, I'm afraid. He just needs to be a bit more switched on. He's done a lot of good work so far in this game, but he can't afford to be in those sort of positions.
2-0 still to Brackley. Not a good afternoon at the office for the Lions at the moment. Goal kick. There's now been one. There was a bit of a shout there for a corner. They felt they'd taken a deflection at Brackley. It's Steve Drench with a goal kick. Out here towards Jack Rea. Inside their own half. Guys, you haven't made an attacking moment since Rea with that wonderful overlapping run, but Brackley have had the pressure in the last few moments. A long one now from the goalkeeper. Up here, looking for sniffs and scraps, which Phil Marsh sees if he can take advantage of. He's got 5 players around him, but still finds Rothery. Rothery on the edge of the area, takes a shot with the left foot. Parried away by Billy Turley. It was headed for the top right-hand corner. Turley kept a very cool eye on it. Good left-footed drive from Rothery. Well saved by the keeper.
Fantastic effort from Gavin Rothery there after good work from Phil Marsh. We've seen Gavin Rothery score with his left foot in a similar position to that already this season, but that was much higher up and curling, and Billy Turley, good save from him in the end.
Corner to Guiseley. Taken to the edge of the area where Potts owes himself some space. Gets a shot with the left foot, but it's gone just curling away. Just caught it with too much with the outside of the left boot.
Yeah, we were right behind that, weren't we, Colin? And it was on target as it left his foot, and then it's just curled away beyond the top corner of the goal. Really frustrating one.
Potts got a good goal on last Saturday down at Gloucester. There's 2 or 3 options really to have scored at that point, but Potts was the one that kept running. Put it in the back of the net. And almost created the winner when it was his shot, I think, that was saved by the goalkeeper.
Yeah, I think that's right.
The ball's gone all the way back to Drench. Drench has helped it out to the halfway line, but Brackley win this one back. Brooksby does well. Steps across. Now Andy Holdsworth with the ball at his feet. Helps it on to Phil Marsh. Now Marsh and Priestley combining well. Priestley has to run at the back 4. He's got players ahead of him, so he goes right to Rhea. Rhea now cuts it back in here to good running from Brooksby, but his cross into the area is poor. And it's cleared easily by Brackley, who can now counter-attack. Brooksby trying to close down his man. Frustrates Brackley. They feel that he went in a little bit too heavy, but it's ended up with Guiseley winning the throw. Holdsworth and Potts on the halfway line. Rothery down here has options with Maynell on the left. Maynell's ball forward is poor, and that means that McDonald can come away with this, or Cartwright rather. And his pass is overhit, and it's gone all the way to Steve Drench. Still 2-0 to Brackley. As we head towards the 65th minute. Guiseley on the halfway line with Andy Holdsworth helping it forward. Up to the head of Priestley, but he's beaten to it. Holdsworth gets the return ball. Lays it out to the left. Rothery has to start another run. Back to Potts, though, as he's held up. Brackley have a man down for a moment. Heavy tackle in there on Holdsworth. There's still a man down. And in the end, Guiseley up to play the ball out into touch so that the Brackley player can get some treatment. It does look like he's injured, doesn't he, Nick?
Yeah, but as soon as the ball went out, he was up on his feet. I'm also looking at Jamil Eblay down here, who's just doing some stretches, maybe a calf or a hamstring stretch. So might be worth keeping an eye on how he's moving when the ball gets back in play. Just check that he's not hurt. Can't afford to lose another centre-back in this game.
No, we don't have any options, really, or any known options as centre-halves. Burgess, Lawler and Dale are the 3. As for the players on the pitch, I don't think of any that would be natural centre-halves here.
I guess it would have to be Jake Lawler just for his height, but I've certainly never seen him play that position.
Well, Brackley hopefully will return the ball. Billy Turley does do so. As ever, it's never quite in as good a position as when you knock the ball out, is it?
No.
Steve Drench has it, plays it to Eblay. Eblay takes it over the halfway line. He helps it out wide to Rhea, back to Eblay, into Holdsworth. Up now to Phil Marsh. Marsh can't get it down ahead of Tom Sharp, who defends well. And then a long ball forward here. Drench has to come out of his area. Shanks the opportunity, sends it straight to Isaac Reed. Reed goes towards the edge of the area. He's got a chance to get a shot in. And a great tackle from Mark Bauer, just as he chose to play the ball out to Griffin. Bauer intercepted brilliantly there and probably presented fairly certain third goal.
That was excellent defending, wasn't it? He stood his ground and he waited, and that's one of those challenges a defender loves, where he makes a striker look silly, almost standing his ground and taking the ball, and the striker moves and finds it's no longer at his feet.
Well, guys, they've just conceded a free kick. Holdsworth on Reed. Reed's gone down. It was a sort of collision of 2 bodies, really. And that after guys had rather cheaply conceded possession as well to start up the opportunity. But next goal, I have to say, is going to be absolutely crucial, isn't it, in this game?
Oh, yeah. If Brackley were to score a third now, then you would have to say the game's over. If Guiseley get one back, then there is still time for them to try and salvage a point from the game.
Much better second half so far, but Guiseley do have to defend this corner. 67 minutes gone, so not a long time for the Lions to recover if they are going to. Brackley comfortable at the moment. Goals from Isaac Reed and Ryan Austin. The difference between the two sides, both in the first half, practically in the first half hour. Guys who've spurned their chances. They've had chances on goal, but they just haven't taken them today. And not quite sure what it is. I think it might be a foul throw, that, Nick. But guys who nonetheless
surely not another
retain
one.
Possession.
Surely not another one. So soon after our first last week.
First in Guiseley's history, if you remember, Nick.
Yes, that was the claim. Incorrect.
Eblay now steps across the halfway line. These guys to get more white shirts forward. Hasn't had the desired impact, though, that move. And Eblay just hands the ball back to Neil Cartwright. He helps it out towards Reed. Reed's recovered from his challenge by Andy Holdsworth, but he doesn't recover the ball, and Rhea and Potts do well. And then a heavy challenge here from Austin on Priestley. Means Guiseley have a free kick. Austin's not happy with it. No sense of a card coming out. And this is, 35 yards from goal. I think there's going to be his change, It's going to be Brackley change. And it'll happen before this free kick. It's going to be a dangerous free kick, but it's going to be Neil Cartwright coming off. And Steve Diggin coming on.
Second substitution, Brackley Town, 15. Steve Diggin replacing 2, Neil Cartwright.
Just in case you didn't get that.
Yeah, and I think he's played well, the right back. He's had a good solid game. He's combined quite well with Isaac Reed on the right. A lot of Guiseley's best stuff has come down the right-hand side, and it's true of Brackley as well. That's where they've produced their best work.
Looks like they're changing formation, possibly. There's a lot of instruction going out there. Maybe they want to change things around. John Brady, of course.
Guiseley have been looking a lot more dangerous since going to a front two, so you could understand if Brackley wanted to rejig.
Free kick comes in anyway from Andy Holdsworth. Finds the header, Phil Marsh. He heads it backwards. It's cleared. And that was a good chance, but the running and the heading wasn't really quite in sync with each other. Steve Drench has the ball all the way back at his feet. Finds Jack Rea on the halfway line. Rea very quickly surrounded by 4 yellow shirts. Does really well. Plays a nice ball into Brooksby. Gets the return. Plays it into the area. It's up towards Phil Marsh. Marsh has got a big job to try and take that one down. Does well with his control. Gets towards the edge of the area. Then spoils it all with a wayward ball. And it's straight here to Nisovic, who's only got one boot. He's lost the other one for the moment. Plays it up towards the substitute, Steve Diggin, who's gone up front. And that ball has gone all the way back to Drench and back here to Maynell.
Mark Bauer had to dig deep there in a sprint against the man who's just come on digging. He did very well to hold him off and play the ball back to Stephen Drench. And throughout, as you say, the whole of that manoeuvre, Eddie Nisovic running around with one boot in his hand and only his left foot with any grip on the floor. He fell over twice during that passage of play while he was waiting for a chance to put his boot back on.
Now Rothery with the ball for Guiseley under great pressure inside the Brackley half, just inside the Brackley half. Does well. Guiseley doing better to get the ball out of awkward positions and make more space for themselves. Out here to Jack Rea. He's got bodies in the area if he can find them. Heads it up towards the back post where Potts is looking for it. Beaten to it by Glenn Walker and it's gone behind for a corner, but a good move once again.
Absolutely. Potts moving the ball out to the corner, corner flag looking like he wants to take this quickly, keep the momentum up.
Guiseley trailing by 2-0, but Potts has a corner now for the Lions as 6 white shirts in the area. Up there towards Brooksby. Brooksby's glancing header. Bauer was behind him. Brooksby got up, but he was on his way down when he actually connected with it, and it's gone out for a goal kick.
None of Guiseley's headers have been on target at all, have they, today? It's been several good corners and crosses going into the box and heads getting on it and some really poor finishing with the head.
It has, hasn't it? And on chances made, actually, you know, I think Guiseley have made many more actual potential goal-scoring chances than Brackley have over the course of the game so far. But the finishing, well, it's just not been there, has it?
No, Stephen Drench has basically been playing as a sweeper. He's had very little to do with his hands so far, just tidying up on the edge of his box and turning possession over when the ball comes back to him to start another move.
Long ball from a free kick inside their own half. Guiseley can't get the ball to Phil Marsh, but do recover it. And the second phase with Rothery out here to Priestley. The ball into the area, not what was needed. It's just so frustrating. Guys, you just have enough to get into that final third and enough to threaten the goal, but just not enough quality. Quality that Steve Drench seems to have on the ball, because he's just taken it away from the on-running Steve Diggin when the ball was sent back to his feet.
Well, Stephen Drench will always back himself in possession, won't he? But that was real class. That's what he tried, of course, against Solihull on the first day of the season that went so horribly wrong.
Now, guys are beginning to look pretty fluid in their movement now, moving the ball well into the penalty area, but it's a last-ditch clearance again. Some great work from Potts as well. Nice 1-2 between Brooksby and Marsh, but just cut out this time by McDonald. Up to the halfway line where Griffin collects. He's got Diggin to his right. A late tackle there from Holdsworth, but it doesn't stop anything. Griffin then does a rather bizarre sort of back heel. Claims for something, I don't know what, but
I think he's just trying to cover
basically
his blushes
loses the ball. Now Holdsworth with the loose touch. In here to Brooksby, fortunately. Guys, he recover possession. Brackley with numbers behind the ball. Guys, he need to score something shortly if they are to get a foothold back into this game as we had 18 minutes to go. Jack Rea, square here to Gavin Rothery, still on the halfway line, not going forward at the moment. Holdsworth looking for options. Rhea is a good one on the right-hand side. Brooksby's also on the right-hand side. He's the one that he opts for. Square now from Brooksby to Potts. Potts goes running towards the back line. He's into Pilmarsh. Milsh on the edge of the area. Out wide to Rothery. Then to Maynell. Maynell takes a drive, bounces off Isaac Reed and goes behind for another corner to Guiseley.
Well, they've had a lot of pressure, a lot of possession in the box there, and as you say, on the balance of chances, Guiseley deserve a goal, but they haven't managed to make one of these stick yet.
Now Maynell with the ball from the corner short, plays it into the area, flicked away from Griffin, and it's gone behind for a goal kick.
We're about to see James Burgess introduced by the looks of it. I suppose it'll be for Phil Marsh.
So it was actually a throw-in, and it was a throw-in to Guiseley. It's taken short. Out here to Jack Rhea, into the area for Marsh. Marsh with his back to goal, under pressure from McDonald, can't get that one away. It's cleared down this channel. Steve Drench on the halfway line now, practically. Andy Holdsworth comes back and collects. Drench always has to be careful he's not caught out like that, but Guiseley really have the bit between their teeth at the moment. Marsh now down this right-hand channel, plays it in here to Jack Rhea. Rhea into Brooksby. Brooksby tries to go past his man. He's bundled over, but nothing given. Brooksby's frustrated. Walker tries to clear. Poor ball from Walker. Holdsworth steps up now. Guiseley with bodies in that last third. Jack Rhea, if he can just get the ball into the area, or someone can get the ball into the area, there might be a chance to get on the end of it, but it's cut out well by Sharp and out for another throw. And now the substitute will happen. And it's Adam Priestley who's coming off. And Adam Priestley, for me, has had a good game. He's going to be replaced by James Burgess.
Adam Priestley's looked very bright, yeah. He started out on the left. I don't think that would be his first choice, but since moving into the front two in the 4-4-2 formation in the second half, he's looked very good with Phil Marsh linking up with him there in possession.
So Jack Rhea has the throw. It's about midway into the Brackley half on the right-hand side. Rhea playing at right back, flicks it forward. Helped on to Phil Marsh. Marsh heads it down to Brooksby. Options for Guiseley now as they move forward. Rhea is pushed off the ball by Odiambu and earns his side a free kick. Odiambu's not happy about that, but Guiseley have a chance to get this ball into the area now. It's just 2 or 3 yards in from the touchline. Andy Holdsworth stands over it on the right-hand side, about 30 yards from goal. Helps it in. It's not a great ball. It's the edge of the 18-yard box. Escapes everyone but Isaac Reed, who can start a counter-attack now for Brackley. Helps it forward towards Diggin. And Potts has to work hard to keep the ball away from Diggin. Gets it back. Well, I thought he was going to send it back to Drench. He doesn't. He takes it round on the other foot. Sends it up to the halfway line. Burgess goes looking for it. Bauer misses the header. And so Griffin can collect and start another attack now here for Brackley down the left-hand side. It's with Nisovic in towards the edge of the area. And Charlie Griffin is in an offside position. So it's going to be a free kick to Guiseley.
It's been much more of a proper Guiseley performance in the second half, hasn't it? A lot more passing, a lot more interplay, a lot more quick movements, triangles, especially on the right-hand side here, as we've said, with Jack Ray involved in a lot of good stuff, Wayne Brooksby as well. But still to find that all-important goal.
Good ball here from Holdsworth, looking for Rhea. If he can just keep it in, just couldn't quite do enough. But Holdsworth with an ambitious ball down the right-hand side. Rhea made the run, holds his hand up in recognition of the quality of the ball, but just unable to keep it in touch.
Yeah, absolutely the right idea, but in the end, just run out of pitch there, hasn't he? And had to pull out a little bit in danger of colliding with the metal fence at the end of the pitch there.
It was disappointing. Obviously, defeat seems to be the most likely outcome at the moment with 14 minutes to go and 2-0 down, but this second half performance so far, much improved.
As you start to look at the game overall, start to wonder whether 2-0 is really a fair reflection. As we've said, Brackley haven't made many chances, particularly in the second half. Stephen Drench hasn't had to use his hands very much at all. But guys who haven't got the rewards for the hard work they've put in the second half so far.
Steve Drench says, take this down on your chest. Goes up to Burgess. He's bussed off the ball. Doesn't win anything there, but Brooksby collects the seconds. Goes forward now, just runs at this back line. Sends it out wide here to Burgess, but Burgess doesn't get on the end of it. Doesn't seem to be on the same level as Brooksby there. It's gone behind for a throw-in. It's gone out for a throw-in, sorry. It's Brackley throw right, just a yard or so up from their corner flag in left-back position. 77 minutes in this game, so heading towards the final stages. Guiseley still in search of a goal, and unfortunately have just conceded a free kick. Seems a bit bit weak, but Glenn Walker went to ground under pressure from Gavin Rothery. And now we'll probably sigh of relief, really, will Brackley, because it just eases the pressure a little bit on them.
Yeah, it's starting to look like they've shielded the storm. Or weathered the storm.
We're getting a lot of mixed metaphors today, aren't we?
We are.
With rather unintended consequences as well at times.
Still recovering from the extraordinary revelation that the clouds had relieved themselves on the Nethermoor pitch at half-time, Colin.
I'll have to live that one down for many years yet to come. Brooksby goes running, tries to find Rhys Maynell, but it's just not connecting up. The passage of play, perhaps the positive passages of play that we've had are just beginning to end.
Well, he found the feet of Zach Dale perfectly there, picked him out on the left wing. The only problem being Zach Dale's warming up off the side of the pitch. He's not actually in the game at the moment.
And now a handball against Mark Bauer. So Brackley have a free kick just inside the half.
And I wonder if Zach Dale will get his customary 5 minutes now at the end of the game. Would have liked to have seen him a bit sooner, actually. You get the impression in the second half in particular, him running at some defenders would have been quite an interesting proposition, but he's not had a chance to come on just yet.
Might have been the change I would have made, but that's why I'm probably sat here.
Yeah, I didn't see you on Sky Sports being interviewed earlier today.
No, that's true. Yeah. Just wanted to speak to interesting people only.
I wasn't on either.
Jack Correa, a rather unconventional throw back to Steve Drench. Drench helps it out to the other side where Rhys Maynell takes it on his chest, then plays it back to Drench. And Drench launches it out to this right-hand side, but Ria's not going to get there. The header's won by Nisovic. Guiseley now have a throw inside their own half. Ria steps across towards Burgess. Burgess gets the ball down, turns it, plays it in towards Rothery, but not to his feet. Back to Drench. Guiseley have to have another spell of attacking play now if they're going to get anything out of this game. Holdsworth out left here to Bauer, who's on the halfway line. Every yellow shirt in the Brackley half. No way through at the moment for Guiseley. Long one from Bauer. Rather unconventionally controlled from Burgess. Goes out into touch though for a Guiseley throw. Played in here to Marsh. Marsh with his back to goal and 3 players around him has to go back. Square now here to Holdsworth from distance. Holdsworth takes a shot. It was just over the bar. Must have been a good 25 yards from goal there from Holdsworth. Rasping right-footed drive, but just always rising over the bar.
Another few inches down, and that would have been a contender for goal of the season, but as it was, that's quite an ambitious effort from there.
Attendance been announced. 607, did he say?
It looks like there's more in the ground than that to me.
Felt like that, but it's been a while. It's all at one end, I think. That's perhaps a deceptive thing. Flicked on by Griffin. Helped down here by the substitute Diggin, and Steve Drench had to be a real live to the danger because Diggin took a tremendous volley over his shoulder on the left foot, and it almost caught Drench napping, but great reaction from the goalkeeper.
That was a good effort. Keep the goalkeeper honest, keep him on his toes. In the end, it was a fingertip save, wasn't it, from Stephen Drench? But luckily, there was so few other people up there. He had the box to himself to tidy up.
Burgess now has the ball on the edge of the area. Lays it back here to Marsh. Marsh doesn't get the ball down. Does get bundled over, though, by Odiambu and earns his side a free kick. And a free kick in a dangerous position, this. And a chance now, perhaps from shooting range for Guiseley. Marsh and Holdsworth stand over it. It's central to the goal. Say about, can't tell from here, 25 yards from the... Maybe sort of 10 yards from the edge of the D?
Yeah, I think so. As you say, the sun's so bright now, we can't even see the lines on the pitch.
Marsh stands over. I think he's going to be the man to take this one. There's 4, 5 white shirts. Gavin Rothery's trying to cause Billy Turley a bit of a nuisance by standing in front of him while he works out the free kick. That's going to be interesting, isn't it? Turley's not happy with Rothery standing there, just has a little push at him. There's a wall set up. Referee Matthew Bristow gets things sorted. And then there's something between Rothery and Turley just as I looked away there. And big shout against Rothery. The referee's coming over to have a chat with both of them, but that was brewing.
Well, Turley never fails to get himself into some sort of controversy or banter incident in a game, but
Well, Rothery and Turley are still having a go at each other, right, with the referee there. And Rothery's not happy for whatever reason, but Turley was putting his arms on the back of Rothery, and then I looked away and there was an incident, and they're having a hug now. Well, I don't know.
there you go, Colin. It's non-league day. You wouldn't see that in the Premiership, would you?
It's a great big love in here. Free kick to Guiseley, trailing by 2-0. Rothery still stands on that penalty area, trying to block the view for Turley before he goes back onto an onside position. Marsh takes the free kick, wasted, high over the bar. It's poor, actually, that little threat on the goal. Didn't even have the power, and all that's come to naught.
I wondered if he might just play it square to Andy Holdsworth, who was waiting just a little bit to his right, just to the side of the wall. Maybe catch them by surprise, but obviously decided to go for it alone himself in the end.
So we have just 6 minutes to go. Guiseley, almost caught napping there as Ebley goes to get the ball. Diggin, who's proven himself to be a very able competitor, was almost let through there. The ball just went too far ahead of him. Now Guiseley get the ball up to the edge of the area where Burgess takes it down his chest. 7 players around him. Out here to Rothery. Out to the left here where Mainel gets the ball into the area, but there's no one in the range of that cross. On the other side, Jack Rea keeps it. And it's going here to Brooksby. Now short to Rothery. Rothery in towards Potts. Potts on the edge of the area. Takes a 1-2. Tries to get something carved open. Can't do so. Rothery takes a tackle. It's going to go in the book here. A tackle in on Nisovic. From behind, to be fair, as he was looking for the ball. He just caught the player and he's going to go in the book, I think.
I think that's a fair yellow card. One or two people starting to leave, and I don't really understand that myself. 5 minutes to go. Guys are playing their best football of the game. Sun's shining. It's good fun to watch. Yeah. Kind of backs to the wall stuff for Brackley. And
something's going to kick off as well, isn't there, in the last 5 minutes? Something interesting is going to happen. It's not as if you have to rush away from the traffic.
No, there's not that problem. Again, it's non-league day. We don't have to spend hours sat waiting for the roads to clear after the game.
That said, there is always the allure of the bar.
True.
5 minutes to go. Gavin Rothery goes in the book. And Billy Turley, just make sure he's spelling his name right. Guiseley, I'll have to wait for a few moments because there's another substitution. Gary Mulligan it is, who will place Charlie Griffin.
And while that's going on, I don't mean to be sour grapes, but Billy Turley's walked 20 yards away from the ball here to make sure that when the substitutions happened and the player is walking off the pitch, obviously as slowly as he can, but Turley's walked so far away that when he gets the whistle, he gets the okay to continue from the referee, he's going to have a long way to walk to restart the game.
Yeah, well.
And now he's back there and he's moving it, and he's... Stephen Drench got booked for a lot less than that.
Yeah, well, that was a different occasion. Referee's not done too bad this afternoon.
No, he's had a good game.
Turley will take the clearance, the free kick rather. It's flicked on by the new man, Gary Mulligan, but there's an offside flag against Diggin. And Guiseley have a free kick now on the edge of the area. The referee's not happy it's quite taken in the right place, which is a little frustrating because Guiseley want to get things going and it's only a matter of a few yards. Nonetheless, Drench will take this from the edge of his own half area. Here to Jack Rea, under pressure already from Mulligan, so Rea has to go back to the goalkeeper. Drench steps forward, closed down by Mulligan, played up towards Burgess. Burgess doesn't win that one, headed forward, taken down by Diggin. Diggin now can start something for Brackley. Reed, long one forward down the right-hand channel, but directionless and out into touch.
It's been quite savvy work by the Brackley manager, actually, changing both of the strikers so that there's always somebody fresh with plenty in their legs to be closing down the Guiseley defenders right until the end. We saw a similar tactic with one of them from Gloucester last week, and then they had one lad who did it for the full 90 minutes. But it's kept Guiseley under pressure the whole way through. Every time that they've had the ball at the back, they haven't had time to stop and think.
Well, it's a throw-in now to Brackley, inside their own half. That spell of pressure that Guiseley had, that spell when the slick passing and the incisive movement was really pulling apart Brackley at times, seems to have passed, and it hasn't resulted in a goal. Now Guiseley, maybe they can start something new. Burgess losing possession though when he gets the ball to his feet. Eblay intercepts the clearance. Rhea on the halfway line. Brooksby with a charging run into the Brackley half. Square to Potts. Holdsworth. Forward now to Rothery. Rothery skips past one man. Plays a nice 1-2 with Burgess. Takes a shot towards goal. Low shot. Looked like it was just going to sneak inside the left upright. But once again, Billy Turley with a fine save just to push it behind for a corner. Taken short. This time with Maynell. Maynell tries to get it across. Cut out. It'll be another corner. And a moment or two while the ball is recovered from the playground beyond.
Yeah, excellent save that from Billy Turley. A full stretch. It was going to sneak in right into the corner or just off the inside of the post, I think, from where we saw it.
Corner now to Guiseley in the dying embers of this game. Flicked on. Eblay can't get the header. And once again, Brackley defend it. And it's cleared this time downfield. And then a real chance here for Brackley to get a third on the counter-attack as Diggins come forward into the penalty area. He's got some distance to go. He's got some defenders to beat as well as Jack Rhea holds him up well. Diggin forced back by Rhea to Walker, but they'll be just happy to count down the seconds and eat up the seconds now. Odiambu now inside the centre circle. Very poor ball from Odiambu. He's played well this afternoon, but this time a poor pass and in left back position. Guiseley take the throw to Drench. Mulligan's not giving them any peace. The substitute, full of energy, but Drench does help it out here to Eblay. Eblay steps forward, comes up towards the halfway line. The Lions still trail by 2-0 as we enter the last minute. As we approach added time. The ball forward there to Potts. Overhit. Brackley in charge now with the ball once again. Long ball forward, given back to Drench. If guys are going to get anything back out of this, it'll be one sort of a miracle recovery. It certainly looks like they're going to drop all 3 points today. The ball forward here to Burgess. Burgess gets the ball some distance from goal. And just as he looks to get a shot on goal, he decides that the challenge that he did on McDonald, and McDonald went to ground holding his head. The referee stopped it saying it's a head injury, and now McDonald's up absolutely fine. And you can hear the boos around the pitch, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with him. He claims he got elbowed from...
It's real pantomime stuff, this, from the left back, claiming that he'd been knocked in the face or in the head off the ball by James Burgess. I don't think there was anything in that, and then I think he's feigned a head injury. In all honesty, I think he's feigned a head injury to force the referee to stop the game.
And the referee's sending him away. He's got to go off the field because he stopped play, so he has to go on and be seen to before he's allowed back. Very frustrating for Guiseley. I'm not quite sure what is going to be given here either. It's going to be a drop ball.
Well, now their physio's on the pitch trying to give some treatment, and the referee's quite rightly sending them back off because he doesn't need treatment on the pitch. He's quite happy to walk off, or quite able to walk off under his own steam, and I think they just need to get off the pitch so that their game can be restarted here.
I think the referee's frustrated because he feels that he's been sold a pup. Yeah. And he's making sure that McDonald goes off the field, and we'll have to wait for a couple of moments before he deems to let him back on. And he tells Brackley to hand possession back. Guess what? It goes out for a throw-in just up from the corner flag, just as Burgess had the ball and was about to shoot, wasn't he?
I'm sorry, that was shocking sportsmanship. Instead of playing it back to the goalkeeper from that position, it's bad enough that Guiseley have got to start from the back, but to knock it out of play into the back of the right back area for Guiseley and force them to start with a defensive throw-in near their own box, that's just not acceptable.
Burgess wins the chest from the clearance from Drench. Guiseley starting a much poorer attacking position than they were, but it's in now from Maynell. Long one into the area. It's going to go across everyone and out for a goal kick. And that was perhaps the last embers of an opportunity really for Guiseley to get something out of this. We've had 2 minutes of the added 4. I'm sure there'll be a little bit more than the 4, but I don't think it'll mean too much in the scheme of things.
Well, no, I think the rhythm is lost now. The momentum is lost.
disappointing result, but a much improved second half performance from Guiseley.
Yeah, there's a lot to be positive about in it. It's just not coming together in front of goal yet, but other than that, the play and the possession.
Oh, the ball's bounced all the way through here to Diggin. The Guiseley players were blinded. Diggin took a shot at goal, but a great save from Drench. Diggin still has it inside the penalty area. Guiseley players blinded by the sun as they couldn't watch the ball bounce down, went right over their heads. Diggin was through and in goal. Brackley still have the ball out here in the touchline. And Diggin now just trying to eke down the seconds. Goes past his man, gets it into the area. It's a good ball in there. The target was Mulligan, but a great header from Jack Rea to clear, and then eventually an offside flag goes up. And that really could have been the third, and perhaps should have been the third.
And these are the things you forget that affect the players. It was Andy Holdsworth who the ball was right near. And
really poor clearance here from Drench. Straight to Mulligan, the substitute, who's going to find Rea. The guys have gone to pot here for a last couple of seconds. The ball now through here to Walker. Walker held up by Ebley. Brackley could get the third. That would just seal the deal from their perspective. Mulligan down there by the corner flag, and they're just going to eke out the last few seconds by holding it up in there. In the end, it's a Guiseley throw.
Yeah, I think that's our lot, isn't it, for today? I think that's probably the last of the excitement we're going to see. All the guys, they're going to try and launch it. Or trying to build down the left. One more chance, maybe.
Up forward towards Burgess. It's away from him. Brackley. Now they've got the ball at their feet. They play it in here to Ebley. He slips. Mulligan goes past him into the penalty area. Man on him. Has a shot at goal. Saved again by Drench. Diggin was looking for the scraps, but fortunately the Lions managed to clear. But in those last couple of minutes, really, Guiseley could have been picked out on a couple of occasions, and Brackley perhaps might have had a third. Flicked forward here by Jack Rea, playing well down here at right back. Finds Burgess. Burgess can't get the ball in the area. Cut out well by McDonald, and it's behind for another corner kick. Last chance saloon to get a goal out of it now for Guiseley. A goal which really, on the balance of play, Guiseley deserve.
They've put in the hard yards in the second half. They've really worked well together as a team, and they've had the chances. It's just not quite come off, and we've said that in a few games this season, and it's true again today.
Corner comes in up towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Mark Bauer gets on the end of it. Once again, the header over the bar, and the referee blows the final whistle. Wayne Brooksby sums it up, hoofs the ball away in frustration. Guiseley have been beaten. They were beaten in the first half, really, when Brackley were absolutely dominant, full of energy, closing down, pressure. Isaac Reed got the goal on 12 minutes for the visitors. Ryan Austin, the captain, headed on the edge of the 6-yard box. A simple goal that crept over the line to make it 2. Guys had had their chances. Marsh might have connected to a Reece Maynell cross in the first half. Adam Priestley went through on goal and was saved by Billy Turley. Danny Ellis had a chance after Turley fumbled in the first half before going off injured. And in the second half, plenty of chances too for the Lions, but that final ball just wouldn't land for them. And it's finished here. Guiseley 0, Brackley 2.
As you say, Colin, absolutely right. The game was lost in the first half. Brackley were excellent from the get-go. They came out full of intent, full of energy, closing down all over the pitch, making sure they were the ones to set the early rhythm of the game. And in Guiseley's defence in the second half, when they upped the tempo, they looked so much more dangerous, and Brackley were restricted to the sort of chances that are created by catching a team on the break when they're throwing men forward. They didn't create many from the quality of their own possession in the second 45. But as we've said in a couple of Guiseley games now this season, it's just not going. We've got 4 strikers there. Craig Hobson's the only one really who's scoring any goals. In fact, he's the only one to have scored so far this season, and obviously he wasn't involved today. And then you've got 3 lads who, in moments, in flashes, look promising. Adam Priestley in particular. We've spoken about how hard Phil Marsh is working. In fact, his partnership with Adam Priestley looked very promising in the second half after they went to 4-4-2. But just not managing to put it in the net, basically, and not managing to make those chances born from all of that well-used possession actually pay off. So it's going to be back to the drawing board between now and next Saturday, and whatever, it'd be interesting to see maybe if they start 4-4-2, but whatever team Steve Kittrick puts out next week, the onus is going to be on those strikers and the attacking midfielders to actually make something for all of their efforts.
Well, we've enjoyed non-league day. We've had a great day supporting the Kick It Out campaign. It's been fantastic to see all the juniors playing football and the Guiseley and Menston juniors that have been out, the boys and girls here. It's been a wonderful occasion off the field. On the field, disappointment for the Lions. It's ended here, Guiseley 0, Brackley 2. And with that, well, we'll see you next time.